I guess if you're a Chelsea fan, if you're Todd Bowley, you'll say, well, this is the model working. You sign players for one fee and you sell them for a profit. Arsenal fans aren't exactly welcoming Madueke.
Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career. Brit Bumrah and Rishabh Pant will play in the 4th test against England next week. It says England have been fined 10% of their match fee from the 3rd test with India after maintaining a slow over rate. They've also been docked 2 World Test Championship points. And Daniel Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk, and it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okolie, but he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
It's a balance. He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover, so Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okolie's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
I'd be delighted to. And coming up over the next 3 hours, we'll cross the Royal Port Rush to chat to 2016 Open winner Henrik Stenson. We'll look at all the latest transfer rumours, and to mark 100 days before Rugby League Ashes, we're joined in the studio by England skipper George Williams and Wigan legend Martin Offiah.
Yeah, Andy says it like that because it's become something of a greeting between me, Andy, and Fletch, who brings us the sports news, that when we see each other we go, Henrik Stenson, in the style of Bob Bubka. So it'd be great to speak to the man himself. We're also, what else we got for you? Yes, we're after excuses for cheating. Some interesting Donald Trump news emerging from the States. We'll preview the Euro 2025 quarter-finals that get underway tonight. And Palace supporting comedian Chloe Petts makes a welcome return.
There's all this, plus we're joined by the team behind a new five-a-side themed play. Tim Vickery brings us the latest from South America. And ex-super featherweight world champion Barry Jones gives his verdict on Dubois Usyk 2. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, should be a cracking fight. Saturday evening live on talkSPORT. Yeah, looking forward to it. I know I should say, shouldn't I? It's 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. And I'm fascinated by the King yesterday welcoming the Indian cricket team to his home in Clarence House. Charles told Shubman Gill that he'd seen the crucial last wicket fall on the news highlights on Monday night. He said it was very exciting to watch. I doubt whether they felt the same thing, to be really honest.
There was that moment they cut to him in the pavilion. They were broken, weren't they, after a brilliant rear guard like that. It was.
I told you he was trying to get one and over. He was prepared to go for 50 overs like that.
No, it was working, wasn't it?
It was.
Well, to an extent.
I was saying to Sam Ellard, they did a great job for us during the match. I said to him, am I right in thinking that with Bazball, every time we win, it's like a real squeaker, and every time we lose, you get absolutely thrashed?
I think that seems to be
that's about
what it feels like, isn't
it? So, yeah, definitely.
It's the beerest of margins, isn't it, really? But that is the nature of the way they play. It's not going to change. We just better embrace it, I guess.
And I do like this bloke, Ian Owen of Wallington.
Okay.
He always writes in, with what I call the add nothing letter.
Right, perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's great.
Who's he write to, Andy?
The Sun. The Sun, yeah.
Not the New York Review of Books.
No, he said Chelsea produced one of their best performances ever to win the Club World Cup. The team totally dominated French favourites, Paris Saint-Germain. It was a great performance from Cole Palmer, João Pedro and keeper Robert Sanchez.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, what? We all saw that. We don't need you to tell us. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Ian.
But they publish it, don't they?
They do, yeah.
It's probably a lucrative sideline. It's a little side hustle. So you get 50 quid for a letter in the Sun? I don't know.
I don't know, yeah.
Or does it have to be the Star? Do they still have Star letters? I've told this story before, but when I was editing 90 Minutes, one of the boot companies came on and offered us a pair of football boots for the Star Letter of the Week.
Oh, yeah.
And so I remember this bloke wrote in one day and he said, in 90 Minutes, I can't stand your magazine. It's rubbish. It's too biased. Probably something like, you don't do enough Man United, or that probably we did. And it was just a letter telling us how terrible we were. And at the end of it, he put, J. Smith, brackets, size 11. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. Oh, you're the Star Letter. Don't worry about that, mate. You're getting the boots. After a fashion you are, anyway.
Did you see that Chelsea removed Donald Trump from the trophy lift photo? They paint shopped him out of it.
Oh, really?
Him out of it,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think I'd have left him in there. I think it's quite a sort of honour, isn't it? Or sort of dubious honour, I suppose. Somebody made the brilliant comment, though, that Cole Palmer's hair is the only person who's got a worse haircut than Donald Trump. Well, that's fair enough, really.
Yeah. Donald's in the news today. Actually, now, our old friend Rick Riley, the brilliant sports writer for many years in Sports Illustrated, has written a fine book called Commander in Chief, How Golf Explains Trump. And he's not the only US president to have cheated at golf. The Mulligan King, wasn't it? Bill Clinton, they called him. And this is a guy works at his course, isn't it? Works for him at his course.
Yes, it is. He's golf pro, John Nyport, or Newport.
Yeah, that's right. He's got famous sort of heritage, isn't he? Golfing heritage.
He says that, the reporter who writes about this says that Rick Riley accused Trump of kicking balls from the rough into the fairway, instructing his caddies to throw opponents' ball into the bunkers. That's good. Yeah. That's bad, isn't it? And awarding himself a large number of gimme putts when a player picks up his ball rather than putting it because the distance is so short.
Yeah.
But he's having none of it. He said,
Newport, though, did you see his excuse? When they said, look, surely he bends the rules. And he said, well, he's a busy man. He hasn't got time to be on the course for hours and hours. So you've got to give him a putt here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Not 20 putts. I mean, Rick Riley has played with him and said, he's virtually into treble figures. He's like 90s. That's what he goes round. Yeah. And that's only shot 66. I mean,
he's got a decent swing, to be fair, for an old bloke, being overweight.
Yeah, I mean, Rick said he's played with him, and there's no way he's won all these clubs. It's like in the Kim Jong-un school of golf.
He says the pro says that I've seen him win club championships, sinking 60-foot putts.
Yeah.
I've seen him shoot 66 out here on this golf course. Yeah. Well,
you say that. So
he's been with him for 25 years. That's one way to stay with him.
Yeah, we're interested in some cheating. You've witnessed sporting cheating. I mean, just some great example. Let's salute the Donald Trump Award. We'll be giving out this afternoon for in whatever sport it is. You tried it and it worked. You tried it and it didn't work. And the excuse you came up with, I mean, it'd be lovely to say, well, I'm a busy man, of course. I'm a busy man. I haven't got time to stand here and putt. You're going to have to give me that one, even though it's 20 yards from the hole. talksport.com/H&J, text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J to get in touch this afternoon. Got a busy show. It's 100 days until the Rugby League Ashes. The Aussies are coming over. And I think the final game's at Wembley, and we're going to be chatting to the guys about that a little bit later on. It's Headingley, Everton's new ground, and
that's exciting.
Yeah, and they're I think more or less sold out. There's still some tickets left for Wembley, I think, at the moment. But Martin Afire, we were watching his try, weren't we, against Leeds from '94.
He was there.
He went to that one.
I did. I was at the match.
What a try!
It.
Ridiculous
Brilliant.
Run from one end to the other. So Martin's going to pop in. Man who, cross code. So we will talk a bit of Lions. And, so it should be interesting. George Williams is coming in with him, of Warrington Wolves, and the England skipper. And we'll be chatting to George as well. Obviously, he'll be looking to be involved. And yeah, that's all coming up a little bit later on. I'm going to get both guys in for a chat a little bit. And we're going to talk about Christian Wade. He's made a pretty decent start.
Yeah.
He's cross-code. I mean, he tried his hand at American football. He's been playing for Wigan.
He looks right for rugby league.
Scored a try on debut. Yeah, we talked to Martin and George about. He's got that low centre of gravity. He seems to have. He made some good runs, didn't he? We're watching some highlights. So, yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I don't know if you saw that Torvill and Dean.
They're not playing rugby league, are they?
No, they performed Bolero for the last time.
Oh, yeah.
Good, I'm bored with it.
You've never quite forgiven her for not laughing at your joke.
I haven't. I'll never forgive her.
No. Poor old Jane Torvill came on. Andy tried a funny. I mean, if you've heard the birthday spread, you know what can go wrong sometimes.
That's right. Yeah.
And she went. She wasn't in the studio. She was down the line, but she went.
No, she was standing next to us.
No, she wasn't.
No,
she wasn't. Andy.
She was.
You've imagined it.
No, she was in the studio. Nobody did down the line in those days.
Of course they did. People had phones in those days.
She was sitting next to us.
She went ha ha ha. I don't mean she'd do that to your face. I mean,
she did. Huh? Yeah, no.
No, you've imagined it, Andy. You poor old soul. You don't know where you are.
I do. How can we prove it? We can't prove it.
We can't. There's no way to prove it. You can take my memory of it, or we can take your memory of it. 03717 the two, or we'll get Jane on. She's not. I mean, I'm sure she's done many interviews.
She's not going to remember.
She's not going to remember. She'll say, what, the famous ha 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 interview?
Looking at her and saying,
nah, you're imagining it, mate. So it's a shame, isn't it? You've met them all, haven't you? Remember when the Queen came in? Her Majesty the Queen.
Producing at
that was good, wasn't it? Yeah, Pele was in. We had Pele. Remember Pele was down the line. He wasn't here, was he? We did speak to Pele on the phone.
We did speak to Pele. That was on the phone.
Pele literally phoned it in, didn't he? No, he was actually very good. He sang along to the
the
birthday
Sergio
spread
Mendes
theme.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, we digress. It's not some sort of celebration, is it? Really? Really. Barry Jones joins us to talk boxing. Natasha Dowie joins us, part of our team out in Switzerland, head of England, Sweden tomorrow. We get underway tonight. Norway v Italy in the women's quarterfinals. And we're going to talk a bit of golf, though, to kick things off today. Later on, Henrik Stenson joining us in the final hour. Looking back on his, again, watching the highlights of 2016 when he won it, and him and Mickelson going head. He was just amazing. It was one of the best scores ever. Was it at that time the best score ever to win a major championship over the 4 days? It was pretty amazing. But anyway, we'll catch up with Henrik, who's going to be playing tomorrow. What else? Yeah, Dominic King's going to join us for a chat from the Mail, who's covering the event. We'll squeeze in a bit of football chat as well, because he covered Liverpool for many years. We'll talk about this business with Ekatike and Alexander Isak, which is all a bit
honestly, if we were saying in the office, if Liverpool get Isak, they might as well not bother to play the season.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
The thing is, we used to say that about City, and many people were saying that about City last summer, but it doesn't always pan out
City
that way.
Still, you saw in that last game, I think they still have some vulnerability left from last year. So
at the back,
they're going to score a hat load of goals. They're going to be brilliant going forward, but still some doubts, I think, at the back. So some exotic sporting cheating you witnessed or perpetrated, and the excuses if you were caught out or they were caught out. 03717 223344, talksport.com/H&J to get in touch. Text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J, TSHANDJ. Yes, we'll pay our first visit to Royal Portrush this afternoon and catch up with Dominic King from the Mail and look ahead to the tournament, get a feel for what's going on there. We'll look at the cocktail list. They've got Virgin cocktails named after the golfers, and if Dom's tried any of them, we'll find out in a few moments' time. We're here, of course, with our very good friends at Tool Station, delivering as little as 30 minutes with Fast Track. Next stop, Tool Station.
Nigel Adley's been in touch, one of our fine commentators. He said, I also want a pair of Gola trainers for the Letter of the Week in Match in 1986. No, well done, Nigel. Are you still wearing them? He said, like much of my work since, there was an absence of insight. Nigel, then age 14, size 6, he says. I've got slightly bigger feet, I would imagine now. So, we're off to Royal Portrush, where the Open gets underway tomorrow. But let's hear from Lee Westwood first. He was speaking exclusively at talkSPORT Gabby Partington ahead of the start of the 153rd Open Championship, which tees off live on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow morning. He called on golf to find a solution to all the best players in the world, and so they can play in all the major tournaments.
Everybody realises that it's a very high standard of golf on live, and the majors are missing out by a lot of the live players not being there. You know, you've got Taylor Gooch who won last week. Arguably, he should be, in the Open this week, and you've got other guys that haven't played the Masters and the US Open for various reasons. So at some point, either the World Golf Rankings have got to see sense, or the majors have got to find their own kind of or style of qualification to get those guys in, because nobody wants to watch a major with some of the best players in the world missing out.
I mean, obviously, it's the Open, so some are there.
I didn't realise.
In the Open, I mean, John Rahm's there. I mean, we spoke to Ian Poulter, didn't we, last week, who didn't qualify. And he seemed to think they were still a fair old way off. Anyway, let's bring Dom King into this from the Mail, who's at Royal Portrush covering the event. Hiya, Dom.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Are you well?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yeah, so Ian, I'd sort of said, there's been a thaw in the relationship between Liv and the Tour, and he said there has. He said, but he kind of sensed there was still a fair old way to go.
Yeah, it's been a really sort of unedifying couple of years, hasn't it, in terms of the schism that's happened. Obviously, the players have got their own reasons for why they wanted to take up opportunities with Liv, and there are things that need to be sorted out for the good of the game. But people with a passing interest in golf, people who only tune in every now and again for the majors, they need to be seeing the best players in the world. This is the highest level. You just want to see the cream of the crop going at it for 4 days, and I do hope things down the line can be sorted out, because golf's one of those games that everybody should be able to enjoy, and the fact that there's been so many, it's been on the back page so often and making news headlines for rows has been it's been unprecedented in recent years, and it needs a solution.
Scotty Scheffler's also made the morning headlines with his comments, and even if you had sympathy for what he said, it's difficult, isn't it? A bloke that's earned 65 million out of golf.
But wasn't that his point, though, that he's fulfilled in some ways? I mean, that story broke when we were on air yesterday, and Rory McIlroy, you could say he's been a living example of, reaching the very heights, getting the thing that he always wanted, and then maybe feeling, Dom, well, is that it? Is that the way I'm going to feel? I've done everything I wanted to achieve now, and he probably doesn't feel as fulfilled as
But that's life, isn't it?
I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah, well, my colleague Riyadh Al-Samari was in that press conference yesterday. I'd spoken to Bob McIntyre early in the morning. We had different things to do yesterday, and he came out, and Riyadh's on the golf beat every week, and he was just shaking his head in front of me in disbelief, and he said, I have never, ever, ever heard Scotty speak like that in my life. And he started reeling out everything that he said, and he just burst out laughing and said the final point was basically, what is the point of golf?
Yeah.
And he started, I thought it was an incredible insight into a sportsman's mindset about. I think all the top level athletes, no matter whether it's cricket, whether it's football, whether it's horse racing or rugby, whatever, I think there's always that sort of feel of unsatisfaction, if you know what I mean. I remember the point that Scotty was making about was if he wins a tournament on a Sunday, his immediate thought is, I've got to go and do it all again next Thursday. I've got to start again. How do we do that? And I remember speaking to Tony McCoy.
Yeah.
That's everybody's job. Everybody does that. Everybody has that. What, you don't think doing a radio show for 26 years, you've got to come in and say, we've got to do it?
Getting an edition of the paper out. You've got another paper the following day writing, haven't you?
I know, but the point that I was going to make about Tony McCoy told me a story about when he won 20 20 jockeys titles consecutively. Incredible, probably the best, one of the greatest sportsmen we'll ever see. And he said, when he got presented with he told me when he got presented with the trophy at Sandown on the final day of the season, he'd wake up heartbroken on the following morning because he wasn't, in his eyes, he wasn't champion jockey any longer because everybody was back to zero. So that's the kind of sort of correlation that I can make between the two, if you will, the sort of the pursuit of excellence and how you keep on doing it.
I mean, the thing is, but by the time, he can do this for another few years, and then he can, if he wants to do something more fulfilling, like become a missionary or something like that, he can do it. He's got the money, he's got the ability to do it. I just don't think people who are just going about their, sometimes they should just have a look at themselves. That's all I'm saying. Have a look in the mirror and really think about what you've actually got.
Well, do you know what? I wouldn't mind having that problem. I wouldn't mind thinking of a Sunday night with 100 million in the bank. Oh God, what am I going to do this Thursday?
Exactly.
Now the open special. Somebody sent us their own. Charlie Baker managed to send us the list of the kind of virgin cocktails you can have there. You can have the Caddy Cooler. I think sensibly priced at £5. You can have strawberry, mango, or blueberry. No, but still, you're a captive audience, aren't you? The Lowry Latte, you can have that one. Not Latte Larry. Sure, it's getting a bit $4.60. The Fleetwood Frappe, and the Rory McIlroy. McIlroy. Sorry. Have you sampled any of these yet, Dom?
Oh, listen! 3 days in Ireland, I wouldn't go anywhere near a drop of anything like that. Would I? I'm here to be professional. Yeah. You can see on Zoom. Here's me fresh bottle of water. That's never leaving me side. I wouldn't dream of touching Guinness or anything like that.
Yeah, no, that's called Jean Van der Velde, the one you're drinking there. It's just water.
What are the conditions like there at the moment, and what are they likely to be?
Absolutely today, it's absolutely beautiful. Just been for a walk up to the top of the course around 7, 8, 9 and 10 and looking over to Giant's Causeway, and you really couldn't wish to be anywhere else in the world today. It is beautiful, benign conditions, sun shining, only a gentle breeze. But looking at the weather forecast tomorrow, I think it's going to get very wet over the next 4 days. So this might be the best that we get of it, but you never know. But it's listen, if the conditions are bad over the next 4 days, isn't that what golf's about?
Yeah,
This is the ultimate test. We don't want to see them just playing drives and pitches in and putting it to like 6 foot and then having a putt. We want them to be challenged in every possible way.
You're still involved in football, and we've got this story yesterday suddenly about Alexander Isak and Liverpool making a move for him, potentially making a move for Hugo Ekitike as well from Eintracht. So what's the latest from what you hear?
Yeah, it's Liverpool's intention's clear. If they are given any kind of encouragement that Isak is going to move this window, they will be right on it. He's one of the best in the world. It's the type of transfer that Liverpool want to do to possibly win the Champions League next year. But Isak's one of a number of names that's being mentioned at the moment. Liverpool have an interest in Ekitike as well. But there's others that I've written about this morning with my colleague Simon Jones. There's an interest in Johan Wieser at Brentford, where Wieser could have gone to Arsenal in January, and the way he's been playing in the Premier League, I think he'd be a welcome addition to anybody. They've talked about Victor Osimhen in discussions with Napoli. They've talked about Ollie Watkins and one or two others. So it's definitely a situation that will keep progressing over the summer. Look, the bid hasn't gone in or anything like that, but what is absolutely clear is that Liverpool would love Isak if they're given the encouragement.
Yeah, Darwin Núñez has fallen through by the look of it, and
I would be surprised. I would be surprised if Darwin Núñez moves listen, I wouldn't say that definitively, but as it stands today, I would be surprised if he moves, because Liverpool are adamant that they want 70 million for him in terms of a transfer fee, and I'm not sure that there's a market for him at that price.
Has Daniel Levy become their director of football? That seems very bold.
If that's ridiculous.
But it seems Luis Diaz does want out. That seems to be the report.
Yeah. Yeah, the conversations that I was having with people in Colombia yesterday, Liverpool would love to keep him. He was a hugely influential member of the title-winning squad last year, but his contract has only got 2 years to run. Diaz doesn't think that he's got the rewards that he probably deserves. I'm not sure Liverpool are going to do a contract anytime soon with him. So, if there's Bayern Munich's first bid for him was 58.5 million. That's not what Liverpool want. I think this is going to be an issue that progresses through the summer. But we're reaching at that stage of the season, aren't we? Or the summer when strange things start to happen.
Well,
Yeah,
enjoy the 4 days of golf. Good to talk to you, Dom.
Yeah,
Thanks
well
very
done,
much.
Dom.
Always a pleasure, gents. Take care of yourselves.
Dominic King there from the Daily Mail, covering the golf
Lovely.
for
nice
the
thing to do.
Mail at the moment. Excuse me. Oh, you got me going now. Anyway, we're less than 24 hours away from the start of the 153rd Open Championship at Royal Portrush. You'll be able to hear live commentary on talkSPORT 2 from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Easiest way to listen is to download the free talkSPORT app, swipe across to talkSPORT 2. We're going to start chatting about the Women's Euros. We've got the first game tonight, Norway-Italy on talkSPORT 2. And, of course, we'll bring you England-Sweden tomorrow night on talkSPORT. Natasha Dowie, formerly of England, joining us for a chat out in Switzerland.
Newcastle can't afford to let Alexander Isak go. So says club legend Nobby Solano. Liverpool say they're willing to cough up the cash if he came up for sale. But the former Newcastle winger says he'd be surprised if the club decided to do that.
Eddie Howe was tried his best. He's tried to keep the best players in the team. special for this season because they have to face a lot of tournaments. You know, it's very important to keep you strong.
Elsewhere, we understand Arsenal's completed the £52 million move of Chelsea's Noni Madueke. The wingers signed a 5-year contract. Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career at the club where it all started. talkSPORT understands Watford are exploring a deal to re-sign him 18 years after he left. Get more transfer news at talksport.com. And Danny Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk. And it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okoli. But he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover. So Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okoli's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT.
England's fearless Lionesses are going to Wembley after thrashing Sweden, the number 2 ranked, by 4 goals to nil.
When you come up against a team when you had a previous fixture like that, then you're always probably going to remember it. But I think so much has happened since, and 2 very different teams now.
James on the edge of the area onto the left foot. Oh yes! That's a majestic goal from England's Lauren James.
Dina is an incredibly powerful footballer.
Plays it through the middle towards Blackstenius. Goalkeeper caught in 2 minds. Blackstenius is in!
A hard player to play against in that respect.
Maybe the tough group stage will stand England in good stead going forward.
2 left-footed shots. It's 4!
We had to learn to be our proper England again straight away after that France game, and I think ready to bring that to the rest of the tournament.
Another shot in history for the Lionesses, and every kick right here on talkSPORT.
Yes, live on talkSPORT tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. We bring you England versus Sweden. But before that, we've got Norway-Italy tonight. And we'll be looking into that with Tash Dowie very shortly. But let's hear from Chloe Kelly, the England forward. She was chatting to the media ahead of the quarter-final with Sweden. And she told our very own Adrian Durham that she still watches her winning goal at Euro 2022 in the final to this day.
Yeah, guilty.
How often?
I think it's just a special memory for me, one that I watch quite often. If I ever need a little smile, it's one that I watch, but it's an incredible memory for me and my family. I'm sure my mum sends it to me quite often as well, so it's nice that to have such a special memory at an incredible stadium like Wembley.
Have you watched it today?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's good.
I wonder if Jeff Hurst watches his goals back.
Oh, he does.
You think he does?
Oh, yeah, why not?
She's that third one.
Yeah,
anyway.
She was very circumspect, as opposed to Ella Toon, who basically has wound Sweden up by saying that they're going to be scared of us. I don't think that was a great idea, really.
Well, let's find out from former England player and part of our team out in Switzerland, bringing you the Women's Euros, Tash Dowie. Hi, Tash.
Hi guys, I was actually just saying the exact same thing. I don't know if that was the wisest idea. I know a lot of the Sweden players, and I think they'll definitely have that extra kick now, knowing that England are saying they should be scared of them.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been a good... I mean, they've got, in Blackstenius, they've got someone who's great at scoring important goals, as Arsenal fans would tell you. So it's going to be a tough game, this, isn't it?
It really is. I think it's a very similar setup to France, the way that this Swedish team play. They have so much pace all through the front line. I think the likes of Kosta Asllani, Angardal, who I've played with over in Sweden at Linköping. You've then got the likes of Hurtig. They're very good in the air, very direct. And we struggled with that against France. So I think we've obviously learnt a lot since the France game, but the Dutch were very different. Wales were very different. England dominated possession. I'm not sure that's going to be the same thing this game. So I think England need to start really well, make sure we don't concede early. I think the first goal is going to be so important, and we need to make sure that we deal with that pace. We double up, we help each other, we don't leave players in 1v1 situations like we did against the French.
Before that, of course, tonight we've got Italy v Norway. You spent a bit of time out playing in Norway. I mean, they're obviously favourites going into this, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and actually had a spell over at AC Milan, so I know both countries and sets of players very well. So I fancy Italy, actually. They've kind of been my dark horse. I actually, no disrespect to Norway, but I don't think they've played very well, and I think they've been actually quite lucky to progress through the group. However, sometimes they say, you know, a good sign is actually when you're not performing well to still win games. So we know the Norwegians have really talented players, but performance-wise, I haven't been impressed with them. Whereas Italy, I think they've been playing some really good football. So I actually see Italy progressing.
What was it like playing out there? I mean, what's the profile of women's football over in Italy? Because, you know, you'd imagine that the national side would probably be better and more dominant than they are in women's football.
Yeah, so the league has actually only turned professional over the last 2 years. So when I was playing for AC Milan, the league was semi-pro. So you had Juventus, who had dominated the league for about 10 years. AC Milan started investing, Roma. You saw then Inter Milan coming on, Fiorentina. So now what I love to see is more teams. You know, it's just Juve winning. Then Roma started winning the league back-to-back. And it's a lot more competitive now from the top to the bottom. And I think you can then see that's having a knock-on effect on the national team. Roma have done really well in the Champions League the last couple of seasons, and they have got some real talented players that have been around for a long time, but also they've got a lot of youth coming through now, which I think is so key, and they play some great football. And I love my time over in Italy. You know, it definitely taught me different lessons. They're very good at the tactical side of things as well, which can be frustrating at times. So if England do end up facing them potentially in the semi-final, I think it could be a frustrating game, because they're very clever with the way that they kind of go down, they time waste a little bit, you know, that kind of Italian style of football, full of emotion.
Norway have got a British coach, haven't they? Gemma Granger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have. Yeah, Gemma's someone that I'm very familiar with. My partner actually worked with her a couple of years ago. She's a scout for the Welsh women's national team. So Gemma's a very calm coach. You know, she doesn't show a lot of emotion, and I think she's done a great job since she's come in. You know, they had a really bad Euro 2022. Didn't even get out of the group with some big results, obviously being thrashed by England 7-0. So I think for them to top the group definitely shows progression. I think everyone was asking the question, how does she deal with these egos? They seem to have big egos, big characters, but then didn't seem to be able to connect and click. But they definitely have done this tournament, so credit to her. She was under a lot of pressure coming into this tournament, so she's done well so far.
So far, the tournament's been running alongside the Club World Cup, which, you know, will take some eyes away from it. But now it's really got the focus, isn't it? There's no other football around, and it's reached that very exciting stage. So it's going to be fascinating, I think.
Yeah, it is, and it's great as well. You know, I've got friends back home, the likes of, you know, Sammy Lee, you know, former Liverpool player, come from an era that maybe before he didn't watch a lot of women's football. He's actually been saying that he's been really enjoying watching it. I think that's great that, you know, obviously people that have been following the women's game are watching it, but also you're getting new eyes on the game, and I think that's so important.
They're obviously not superstitious, the England girls, because they're going to continue playing ABBA in the dressing room, apparently. They were saying today, Does Your Mother Know was a big hit on the playlist when they won the Euros. So they're going to keep playing ABBA. So were you suspicious at all? Did you have any things that you always did, Tash?
Yeah. Absolutely, you know, the same pasta bake meal was my go-to every night before the game. Right. You know, little things like having my shower in the morning, making sure I looked good, felt good, played good. And actually, talk about suspicion. Joe Shannon, I'm going to out him.
Right.
He's walked the first game against France when we lost. He then went and walked different steps against the Dutch team, which allowed us to win. Then he started following the same steps. So he's kind of doing different walking routines to try and help this England team get through. So Joe is very superstitious by the looks of things.
I mean,
just tell him it won't make any difference. Honestly, it won't.
Any difference?
Tell him to read Nick Hornby's book about that. Then you'll know all about that.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it really doesn't make a lot of difference. Excellent. Thank you, Tash. I'm sure we'll catch up with you later in the week. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys. Take care.
There we are, Natasha Dowie.
I'm looking forward to Jason Cundy doing. Has anyone seen Bjorn Borg?
Yeah, he'll go through them, won't he? Yeah, he'll go through Benny and Bjorn. He'll go through the card. That's England Live tomorrow night on talkSPORT. On talkSPORT 2 tonight, the first quarter-final between Norway and Italy.
Yeah, good.
England's women are playing cricket as well today in Southampton. We're on the wrong end, England, of the T20 series. The ODIs are underway. Georgie Heath is watching for talkSPORT. Georgie, we lost a couple of early wickets, haven't we, England? Maybe we'll never know.
I don't know. She's so
I can tell you we have.
She's so gutted that we lost those early.
Yeah, she can't even talk about it. Yeah, we are 44 for 2, just to confirm that.
She's just got up to 48 for 2.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good. Things are picking up a bit then. We got it on, so we can keep an eye on that for you. But hopefully we'll catch up with Georgie in Southampton a little bit later on. But we're going to talk boxing next, because as part of a massive weekend of sport, not only do we bring you the Lions' first test on talkSPORT on Saturday morning. Got the golf, got the women's football, and indeed the boxing. Got the big fight for you Saturday night on talkSPORT. Dubois Usyk 2. Amazing. Barry Jones, former world champion, super featherweight, is going to join us for a chat. Hopefully, I'll see in a minute whether we got any of your tales coming in of cheating in sport. We'll bring you the best of those as well. And then later on, from the world of rugby league, it's 100 days until the Rugby League Ashes gets underway. And we're going to be joined by Martin Offiah, of course, Wigan legend, and George Williams, the Warrington Wolves skipper and England skipper, coming in to see us today. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. You can download the Toolstation app for fast-track delivery on thousands of products. Next stop, Toolstation.
This is boxing. I prepare for this fight.
First time ever 4 belts have been on the line in this country.
Just be a savage, bring chaos.
Who's been charging in for a finish? Fury doesn't know where he is. Dynamite Daniel Dubois has detonated. That shot was not low, that was borderline.
You conned the referee, you conned us, you conned the boxing world.
I'm not cheater. I think it's just games.
6, 7, he looked at the corner.
I'm gonna get under this game with these bombs I'm gonna be throwing.
9.
I like play, but it's my rules.
Stay down there, Daniel Dubois. He gets up on 9.5. Usyk sinks down to the canvas.
Let it flow until I have to get in the ring and put chaos on this guy.
Yes, this Saturday talkSPORT brings you live commentary of the undisputed world heavyweight title fight between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois from Wembley Stadium. Dubois spoke to talkSPORT's Gareth A. Davis yesterday, said he's ready to shock the boxing world.
Just be a savage in there, and we'll talk about it after it's done, but just be a savage, bring chaos.
Do you think you have got under his skin, or you're going to get under his skin?
I'm going to get under his skin with these punches, with these bombs I'm going to be throwing, so, yeah.
There's an energy about you that you're really ready.
Yeah. No, I have been. I've been ready for months now. It's been a long camp, this one. From the last fight that didn't happen, it's been ongoing, so I'm ready to go in there now.
Destiny?
For sure.
When you look at that arch from the farm, just behind us, that big Wembley arch.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and all my men will say it's destiny.
We are. That was Daniel Dubois chatting to Gareth A. Davis.
Usyk looks unbeatable, but they all do until they actually lose, so you never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first fight, people were wondering what some of that stuff was about. They didn't see the first fight. There was a bit of controversy where there's still a lot of conjecture about whether it was a low blow or not, which bought Usyk a little bit of time. And of course, saw him come back and win the fight. Barry Jones, former super featherweight world champion, joins us now. Are you, Barry?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are we?
Yeah, not so bad. We had Big Derek Chisora in the other day. He still does think it's a low blow. Our own Spencer Oliver didn't. Where do you stand on that one? Not that it matters. I'm just out of interest.
No, well, I was literally closest to the action, actually, luckily, and I wasn't talking at the time. I had the cams on the ear, had the sound effects in my ears at the time, and I could hear it hit the plastic, so I know it was low. I mean, it was he hit low a few times in that night, and it was none of it was purpose. It was just a shot he threw. It strayed low, and what people don't understand is it wasn't in the area that all men don't want to get hit in. It wasn't that, but it's called it's not called a cup. It's called abdominal protector, and it's to protect more than just what the obvious area is.
We know what you're saying.
Your bladder. Yeah, I don't want to say it. I mean, you say it. I'm not going to say it. But it's your bladder, your appendix there. There's tubes. There's all sorts of things that there's not enough muscle to protect it from. So that's what it's there for. And if you get hit there, it's a very, very painful thing to happen. And certainly against someone like Daniel Dubois. Did Usyk milk it? Of course he did. But that's his prerogative. But bear in mind, this was a fight that he was winning anyway.
Yeah.
Dubois was starting to tire. And, if he could have got up, if the referee would have started counting, he would have got up. As soon as the shot landed, the referee waved it off straight away as if it was it wasn't a legitimate knockdown. So, I mean, this thing that it's controversial is built over time, I think, and I think Dubois' camp, Frank Warren and certainly Don Charles don't want to get in an argument with it at all. No, they've done the right thing and they played on it and they're adamant that it was a low blow and that it was a legal shot. But almost everybody I know who really knows boxing will say different.
Daniel Dubois is a better fighter, I think, than he was 2 years ago when that fight happened. Have you seen any signs of Usyk maybe dropping off? Is there any signs you've seen so far that he's not quite the same fighter?
It's hard to judge because he's had. First of all, Dubois has been fantastic. Jarrell Miller, he realised that he's fitter than what he thought, and if he pushes through that pain barrier, that tire barrier, there's the reserve of fitness on the end, so he can push the pace, as he did then in the next fight against Filip Hrgovic, where tactically he wasn't great, but he just literally walked through him until he quit. And then against Joshua, he was so confident and just brilliantly brave that mentally he's in a perfect place now to challenge Alexander Usyk. But Usyk still had the two better wins against the best heavyweight on the planet, Tyson Fury, and there was no sign of decline in those fights.
I was
in my opinion.
You finished. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was interested in something Paul said the other day about Usyk, which seems right, that he works out his opponent during the fight. And I think that's kind of true, isn't it? He often seems as if he might be losing the fight, but somehow he turns it around.
Yeah, he puts as a cruiserweight, but he was a big cruiserweight. He would pressurise you with the front foot, but he would block and counter lots of shots. So you would think you were in the fight, you were hitting something, but he makes you work at such a frantic pace that when you tire, he doesn't up the pace. He maintains that pace, and you can't maintain it. As a heavyweight, he can't do that, but he still puts front foot pressure, but he moves side to side. That lateral movement for big guys makes a fighter think. Now, when you overthink, it makes you concentrate. When you concentrate, you get tense. When you tense, it's strain on your muscles. You get tired. For big fellas, it empties their tank very, very quickly. So by round 5, 6, and 7, mostly they're exhausted, and then he goes to work. So, and that's what happened in the Dubois fight, happened in the Joshua fights. I mean, they're close fights up until a certain point. Then he runs away with it. So he's a very clever fighter. He's very pragmatic. He doesn't do anything flash. He just always does enough. As long as he's making you work at the pace that you're uncomfortable at, he knows he's dictating it.
Yeah, Derek Chisora was saying that to us, Barry. That lateral movement was very difficult to cope with, and so the perceived wisdom seems to be that if Daniel Dubois is going to win it, he probably needs to win it early. I mean, how are you seeing it?
I think that's the obvious statement to make, and I think that he can win it late, but he has to hurt Usyk early. That's the important part. If he can hurt him early and somehow get him out of his rhythm, by the way, it's never been done before, ever. So it's a big ask. But he has the power, and for Dubois, he has arguably the best and strongest jab in world boxing, I would say. So if he can get that jab into play very, very early and be brave with it. It's easy for us to say that on the outside of the ring, but to be really brave with it and commit to with that jab and push Usyk back or just hit him off balance and make him overthink and slow him down, then he doesn't have to knock him out early. He can get to him late if he can make him tired. But you're banking on Usyk being, having one fight too many, becoming an old man overnight, all those things that you have to hopefully factor in. So Usyk's going to be a massive favourite again. He has to be. But Dubois is not the same fighter he was. He believes in himself more than he ever has before. So, if he's ever got a shot, I think it would be now.
I don't know if you ever considered coming out of retirement in the last couple of years, Barry, but we've seen Manny Pacquiao hasn't he? 46 years old. I mean, what do you make of that, his return?
Well, who am I to say he can't do it? I'm not a fan of it because the only reason, because boxing is the damage after you retire.
Yeah.
It's something that's not studied, but it's evident. We know that. We meet boxers from yesteryear, my generation, the 90s, and they're not all in a good place. So, and you can't reverse that damage.
No.
And the older you get, I think it's easier to bring that baggage on and that damage on. So I'm not a fan of it. But that's not the problem. The problem is he gets a world title shot straight away. That's the issue. I mean, it's happened in history. Ray Leonard retired for 4 years, came back and boxed Marvin Hagler for the world middleweight title, never boxed as a middleweight before. So this is not new to the sport, but it's a problem that, jumping the queue for anybody shouldn't be allowed. It wouldn't be allowed in any other sport. You can't play in the World Cup final because you were a good team 20 years ago. I mean,
good point.
Yeah, so I think it's an issue there, and it's a difficult fight for Manny Pacquiao as well, by the way. He's picked what he thinks is the easiest guy in Mario Barrios, but he's still a young man who can punch and box and has fast hands. So it's a hard fight for him, but he's an all-time great. Do great things.
Just a final word on Dubois Usyk then. What's your gut feeling if you were calling it now? How's it going to finish and when?
I think it'll be similar. I think Usyk might get the stoppage again with an exhausted Dubois, but it'll be a Dubois who has more success early. So there's some jeopardy there for Usyk this time than there was last time. But I still think he's still a great fighter. He's still good enough to deal with the likes of Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois has got a great future. The loss doesn't affect him, I don't think. I think he still goes on from strength to strength after that.
Well, that will make for a great fight, won't it? So it should be really interesting.
Brilliant.
Barry, appreciate your time.
Barry.
Thanks very much.
See you guys anytime.
Barry Jones, the former WBO World Super Featherweight champion. And the big fight is Saturday night here on talkSPORT. Daniel Dubois versus Alexander Usyk 2. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and still to come this afternoon. We're going to be joined in the studio by Warrington Wolves' George Williams, Martin of Fire, of course, rugby league legend, popping in to see us 100 days until the first test between England and Australia, the Rugby League Ashes. We're looking forward to that. We're going to tell you about a new play in the next hour as well, based on five-a-side. I think it'll be a bit of a touchstone for a lot of the listeners, really. It sounds really interesting. We'll be joined by the producer and one of the actors. And Chloe Petts, big Palace fan, comedian, will be joining us. Very timely, really, after the march yesterday and everything that's going on behind the scenes at the club. So that's all to come in the second hour.
Newcastle can't afford to let Alexander Isak go. So says club legend Nobby Solano. Liverpool say they're willing to cough up the cash if he came up for sale. But the former Newcastle winger says he'd be surprised if the club decided to do that.
Eddie Howe tried his best. He's tried to keep the best players in the team, especially for this season, because they have to face a lot of tournaments. You know, it's very important to keep you strong.
Elsewhere, we understand Arsenal's completed the £52 million move of Chelsea's Noni Madueke. The wingers signed a 5-year contract. Our chief football correspondent Alex Crook says it's a transfer that's receiving mixed reviews.
Profit for Chelsea. I think they paid around £29 million to bring him to Stamford Bridge. So I guess if you're a Chelsea fan, if you're Todd Bowley, you'll say, well, this is the model working. You sign players for one fee and you sell them for a profit. Arsenal fans aren't exactly welcoming Madueke.
Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career at the club where it all started. talkSPORT understands Watford are exploring a deal to re-sign him 18 years after he left. Get more transfer news at talksport.com. It's expected that both Jasprit Bumrah and Rishabh Pant will play in the 4th test against England next week. It says England have been fined 10% of their match fee from the 3rd test with India after maintaining a slow over rate. They've also been docked 2 World Test Championship points. And Daniel Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk, and it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okoli, but he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
It's a balance. He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover, so Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okoli's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're talking rugby league in this hour with Martin Offiah and the England skipper George Williams popping in to see us to mark 100 days before the rugby league test, the Ashes series, gets underway. We'll also be joined by Nick Miller and Jez Frampton chatting about a new play with a bit of a backdrop to the world of five-a-side. But before all of that, make a welcome return to the show. She's got a big Edinburgh show coming up and a big tour next year. Is Palace fan Chloe Petts. Good afternoon, Chloe.
Hello, chaps. How you doing? It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, good to talk to you. We'll come on to Palace in a minute. A thorny subject, I'm sure, for you. But let's talk about the show first. It's a new show, Big Naturals. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, I mainly just called it that because it's funny to come on the radio and have to have someone ask me about Big Naturals. So it's a show about I don't know, just sort of growing up in lad culture and what that sort of means for me, and kind of like having a bit of a fond look back on the context in which I grew up as a bit of a lad myself, you know. So yeah, it's just like a really fun hour that I'm excited to put together. And yeah, Edinburgh's coming up, so I'm getting a little bit nervous.
Yeah, you've done well at Edinburgh, but it's interesting. A lot of comedians now are sort of put off by it. I mean, I've been to about 20 of them. It's a great thing, but it has become so expensive, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty inaccessible for a lot of people, but I think we're sort of breaking the model and people are starting to do something a little bit different and maybe go up for like half runs or weeks here and there. So yeah, hopefully something does give at some point so that it can be sort of the vibrant, bustling thing that it continues to be. But yeah, it is pretty difficult. So people got to come out and support.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Lovely arty photograph, publicity photograph you've done with the tour.
Yes.
So, I don't know what it is, a bit Caravaggio. What it is, it's you holding some fruit in a toga.
That's bang on. I didn't expect talkSPORT to get the Caravaggio reference.
We do all the Caravaggio.
It's like working with Melvin Bragg.
I think he was at AC Milan for a couple of years, wasn't he? I think Harry Redknapp tried to sign him. Yeah, Kevin's had a look at Caravaggio. He's definitely coming in.
Yeah, I can't believe you're talking about a play later as well. Like this is far too close.
Oh yeah, we got a string quartet coming. Then we're doing rugby league to sort of change things up a bit. So, you've got a big tour starting at the beginning of next year.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sort of OE of the constant tour. Like I'm always just sort of living out of a suitcase and away from home. But I love it. I love sort of going around the UK, and you know, it's all well and good playing to London and Edinburgh audiences, but you don't know if a show's good until you take it to Hull and really test out in front of the people that you know they know what they're talking about.
Now, we are going to just come on to Palace. We had a group of Palace fans marching yesterday to Holmesdale, fanatics. They marched to Selhurst Park. I think they made it pretty clear what they think of UEFA. We can't possibly repeat it at this time of day. Of course, the team have been demoted from Europa League to the Conference League.
No one's happy about
No,
it. It's
I mean,
not
it
the
does
right
seem
decision.
incredibly unfair. The Moose was there, Ian Abrahams, and he had a chat with one of the Palace fans, John, who was one of the organisers outside the ground.
I think the turnout on such short notice, given the magnitude of the circumstances, is fantastic. It's been a very good response from Palace fans, and we're very happy with how the protest went.
In terms of what you hope to achieve from it?
We hope to achieve what is rightfully ours, which is the reinstation of Crystal Palace Football Club within the Europa League, and nothing less. This campaign against UEFA and those people that have fundamentally changed the game of football and taken it away from the working man in England will be sustained and continued throughout next season.
You are still in Europe, though, so that is something.
It's not about something. We don't want crumbs, we want the whole loaf. We've won the FA Cup, and we're owed that, and we want it. We're sending a small delegation of lads to get out to UEFA headquarters and continue the process from there. Other than that, keep watch online and you'll see what happens.
I'm sure you've been poring over sort of subsection 3, page 5 of the UEFA edicts, but I mean, how hopeful are you, Chloe? I'm sure everybody, Palace fans, have been talking about nothing else in the last few days.
Honestly, not hopeful at all. I think it's one of them ones where, like, it's clearly incredibly unjust because you look at what some of the bigger clubs are doing in terms of the actual corruption at the top of the game, and you look at what we've done and it's nothing in comparison. However, if you look at the letter of the law, we can't really, if they want to uphold that, they uphold that. So I'm sort of not hopeful, and I think if I sort of think about it too much, then I get really upset. So I'm just like, I'm trying to be sort of like glass half full about it and being like, we still are going on a European tour, if we qualify. I think that's the bit that gets me, is we have to qualify, and we won't be sad if we go and do something decent in the Conference League. So yeah, I'm trying to be balanced about it. I think it's absolutely horrible, and I think that we've been really let down by UEFA, but what I don't get why anyone's surprised. Like, it's UEFA. Like, that's just what happens. And it's just, I think it is all those years of being a Palace fan as well. Is like, we win the FA Cup and now we've got something to be sad about. So it's just classic Palace. So I hope the decision is different, but I have absolutely no faith that it will be at all.
I only read this morning. There's a bit of a disappointing story. CAS dismissed an appeal from a Slovakian team called DAC 1904, but they've not been allowed back into the Conference League because they're under the same ownership group as a Hungarian club called Győri. So there is precedent there. I mean, the circumstances may be different, but as you say, the signs are not good, are they?
No, not good at all. Yeah. I don't really know what else to add. I think far cleverer people than I have done the analysis that they want to do, and if they want to sort of arbitrarily uphold this as a rule, they're going to do it, and no amount of protesting is going to change things.
That's true.
And we're going on our first European tour.
Yeah, that's right. And you get
let's try and win it.
Well, it can be a springboard for becoming the world champions, as Chelsea found. So it can lead to bigger things.
The other big thing about the conference is that it doesn't ruin your league season because you don't have to play your top full team to beat the teams that are in it. Whereas in the Europa League, you saw with Spurs and United, it does affect the season. So it'd be interesting. Yeah. I mean, you'd rather be in the senior tournament, but if you look at it that way.
Well, we just go win it and then we'll be in the senior tournament.
Yeah, you will. You can move into
not that deep, we win competitions now.
And on the pitch, I mean, I think every time we talk to Palace fans, we talk about, is Gay going to stay? Is Eze going to stay? I mean, do you worry about any of that stuff anymore?
Yeah, of course I worry about that stuff. And you get incredibly bonded to these incredibly talented young men, and you want the best players at your club. But I think we've shown now that hopefully we have enough of a succession plan that if we do lose the likes of Gay and Eze, then we've got replacements that we can bring in. Obviously, it's a shame that we lost Dougie Freedman because he's an outstanding recruiter. And that does worry me slightly, but I hope that, just like we've had the replacement plan for players in place, hopefully there's a plan to replace Dougie as well. But I think as long as we don't lose all of them, we're good at bringing in new players. Adam Wharton for me is the one that I want to keep forever because he's he's like little mini Pirlo. He's so good.
You won't keep him forever, but you will keep him.
He is a good player.
They can't sell everything. They've got Mateta, they've got Wharton, they've got...
there was a story about Mateta yesterday.
The right back was brilliant. What's his name? Daniel. What's his name? The right back?
Munoz. Yeah, Munoz is one we need to keep because our system is reliant on him. Just I don't know how he does it. He's just up and down, up and down.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
he's quality. Yeah.
Pleasance Courtyard 4th. You can see Chloe's show, Big Naturals. Are you having the 13th off? As all the comedians, all the comedians must have a right old party on the 13th. They all have the same day.
We'll have the party on the 12th. Is when we have the party.
Of course.
Sleeping on the 13th.
7 o'clock, and you can catch Chloe's new show. All the details of that and the tour, Chloe Pets with 2Ts.org, and all the usual socials you'll find her at. Good to talk to you, Chloe. All the best.
Thanks so much for having me. Always a pleasure. You take care, boys.
There we are. There's Chloe Pets there, comedian and Palace fan. If we have any more news on Palace, we'll let you know.
First weekend Edinburgh is always 2 for 1. I mean, you used to be. That's always a good thing.
Bit of transfer news. It's not altogether unsurprising. There's been talk of it. Petrovic, your keeper, has signed for Bournemouth for 25 million.
Good business for Chelsea. Good business for Bournemouth. He's a really good keeper. I mean, he was keeper of the year in France.
Yeah. There was a lot of talk about him being the best of the bunch, but Robert Sanchez has had a very good end of season, hasn't he?
He had the game of his life on Sunday.
But I mean, even towards the end of the season, he pulled off some big saves in big games, didn't he?
Even in that game on Sunday when he was fantastic, he still did one wreck right at the end. He's got one in him.
You're still not having him. Would you like another keeper still then?
Well, personally, I would if they really want a challenge, but I don't think they're quite ready anyway. So they won't do anything. And this guy, they couldn't keep him happy, so it's good news for Bournemouth.
We're going to be chatting about a new play in a moment. It's football. It's a football backdrop, and I think it's quite relatable for an awful lot of the talkSPORT listeners who probably go out and play a bit of five-a-side with their mates. It's called the famous Brixton Mondays, and we'll be joined by 2 of the people involved in it in a few moments' time. We're here with Toolstation. Get fast-track delivery in as little as 30 minutes on the Toolstation app. Next stop, Toolstation. Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Martin the Fire and George Williams, the England Rugby League skipper, with us in the studio in around 15 minutes' time. We're having a bit of an artsy half hour, aren't we? I've been chatting to Chloe Petts, and we talk a lot of Palace. But this is a play which is going up to Edinburgh after a successful run that I think will be very relatable to a lot of the talkSPORT listeners. I'm sure a lot of people out there play a bit of five-a-side on a regular basis and then disappear to the pub or the local curry house and have a debrief. Yep. And that's effectively what the play is about. It's called the famous Brixton Mondays. They've got the programme. Oh, the programme's very nice.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So,
very, very clever.
So Nick Miller has joined us in the studio. He's produced it. And Jez Frampton, one of the stars, is with us.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, guys. Good to see you. So that was a brief synopsis, but effectively that's what it is, isn't it? Really, it's just a bunch of guys who play regularly on a Monday night.
That's right. The Brixton Mondays is the clue in the name.
Yeah.
And yes, it's set 10-15 years after their last match, and there's 4 out of the 5 come back together in the same curry house that they used to eat in every time after the game to kind of share information. You think it's going to be about one of them who declares in the first couple of minutes of the play that he's got cancer, but actually it brings together a whole raft of different themes about men of a certain age, I guess.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're all kind of around about retirement. You know, how am I going to deal with the future of my life, and the fact that men just never open up to one another.
Right. Does walking football get a mention? That difficult move into walking,
shuffling football.
Number of the boys I know who've done that. They've gone into the world of walking football. They've crossed the Rubicon. But,
Make a note of that.
It really does. No, it really does get underneath men actually, and it's so there is football content in there, and but it's really about the relationship between guys.
Not actually about football, so you don't have to be a football fan to.
No, you really don't, and you don't have to be a man or a woman either. It appeals to people. It's everyone in between.
It's not getting
covers everybody.
In the notes it says that why is the 5th member of the team unavailable?
Well, that's we don't want to give that away, do we?
Well, that's Georgie, you see, and Georgie was a naughty boy along the way. But you'll have to come and see the play to find out about that.
I'll give you a picture of me, but that's part of the.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody will have their kind of stories from that. As I said, I think it will be very relatable because it's a real sort of touchstone, certainly for our audience, because so many people do this, don't they? All the weird and wonderful
They do,
time.
and football, the beautiful game, the great leveller, and in the same way, the characters in the play all come from very different backgrounds, but this is where they come together, and it talks about the fact that they really are the closest of friends, not because of who they are, but because of the fact that they've been brought together by football, and have shared their life on a Monday night, playing football, eating curry, and talking rubbish.
So, Nick, how did you get involved?
Well, I run a theatre company in Greenwich, amongst other things that I do in general.
You used to be a presenter on Talk Radio, didn't you?
I was amongst the first. I used to do the prestigious overnight weekend slot.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
And my girlfriend, who became my wife, used to wake me up at 5 a.m. because there was a caller online.
Right.
Only one,
mind. We dated you guys even.
Yeah, wow.
And so since then I've done all sorts of things. I was at Jazz FM as well. I've done a bit of stand-up and all that sort of stuff. And a friend of ours wrote this play, and when you go and see a mate's play or whatever, and you're a bit trepidatious about it, but my colleague and I saw it and we thought, this is brilliant. So I run a theatre company where it's a creative writing place where we do 8 short plays in one night. They're all written, directed and produced by ourselves and performed. And we saw this and thought, this is so funny, it's brilliant, it's heartwarming, it's evocative, it's all about men of a certain age. And I said, could you cut it down to an hour so we could do it in the second half of our show, which he did. And then we said, well, this is very Edinburgh shaped. And he said, well, I'd love to take it to Edinburgh, just need someone to produce it. And I thought, well, I'll do that.
Yeah.
When you want something done, ask a busy person, that's me.
Yeah.
So I've gone through all this process. And even when I did the first programmes, because I do all the marketing and design and web and all that sort of stuff, I thought, how can I make it different? So I've done the programme like a Panini sticker.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. It's really very well put together. Yeah.
One of my jobs in Edinburgh will be standing in front of a press wall in the Royal Mile, dressed as John Motson. This is a cut-down version of it.
Right.
In front of this place.
It's brilliant.
So
nice.
Yeah. So basically, I thought this kind of stuff appeals to you're in Edinburgh, aren't you?
Yeah, I love it.
So you must come and see.
Unfortunately, no, I won't be going this year. But no.
Are you How many times have you performed this?
This will be the 4th time up.
Right,
So I
okay.
wasn't in the very first edition on it, but we've done 2, one at the White Bear near the Oval, and then more recently at Greenwich.
Theatre, yeah.
And now here we go again for the 4th time in. And of course, each time the script has got better and better and better because Johnny watches us doing it, learns from the audience response, and it is truly heartwarming. I mean, that was the word you used. It's a real laugh and cry hour. It's really good fun.
And it's the hopefully, could you take this on tour? Are people outside of London or Edinburgh get a chance to see it?
With your help, I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
Oh no, this will go down well.
I think it will. Yeah.
It touched on men's mental health, but it's not preachy.
Yeah.
Because if you've been to Edinburgh lately, almost everything you go and see now is political or it's gender based or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, no, just entertain me. Don't try and convert me to something or other.
Yeah.
So it's just an adorable.
You definitely worked
funny...
on talk radio, didn't you?
Yeah.
He's looking to take the calls in.
And we're doing it in association with Mind, actually. So we are serious about that.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's one of those things that you pick up quite quickly in the play. All of the guys come in and the first thing that, how are you? Everyone's, oh, yeah, I'm great, I'm brilliant, I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you find out they aren't.
Yeah, even
and it's
before
that
Poppadoms
whole thing about the fact that men never really open up.
No.
So Johnny, who wrote it, Johnny Sinner, fantastic observer of behaviour and the way that people do things and why they do things. Very insightful.
It's on in the middle of the festival, isn't it?
It is,
only for 9 performances, am I right in thinking?
10 altogether.
10. Yeah.
One of the reasons for that is, I don't know if you know about this, but the Edinburgh Council and the Oasis management decided it was a really good idea to have 3 Oasis gigs
in the middle of the
first 2 weeks at Murrayfield, where you can't get accommodation for love nor money, and 52,000 people at Murrayfield for Oasis gigs, right slap bang in the middle of the Fringe.
Yeah. I think Liam and Noel play a bit of five-a-side. They might come along. They might come along
and watch it. Yeah,
you never know. You need a bit of city in it.
We won't let them in. We'll have people on the door.
It's a good kick-off time, 4:30.
Yes, it is. Before
perfect,
you're too drunk.
Yeah.
And
don't look at me.
no,
so just the tonic, subatomic is
it's actually in the Pleasance. So we're 200 yards from Pleasance Courtyard.
Excellent. Okay.
The key thing, if we can give the web address, can we?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Go ahead.
BrixtonMondays.co.uk.
Yeah. Brixton
Nice and
Mondays, and so the programme is great and all the graphics. So are you? These are just for promotional, are they? Or
no, we'll be actually printing them out, and we're going to hand them out. I'm sure you know, having been there before, standing out in the middle of everything that's going on in Edinburgh is a challenge in itself.
Yeah, so you're going to see stickers of yourselves all over the city, which is
the idea is there'll be one on every chair when you go into the performance. Because I don't know if you find this, but if you go to see a show in Edinburgh, people say, "What have you seen?"
Yeah.
What was the name of the guy again? Where was the performance?
Yeah.
So we want people to take these away with them.
Yeah.
People don't normally do programmes at the Edinburgh Fringe, but we are. So it's just that one little extra thing. And the press wall means people do selfies with you and stuff like that.
Lovely.
And
well, look, we wish you well with it, guys. It sounds like a great idea. And as I said, a lot of the listeners will have experienced exactly what you're going to be performing. So
I think they will.
Can we phone you in when we're up there and tell you how we're getting on?
Yeah, let us know how you're doing. Yeah, we'll pass it on to everybody. Who's your teams, by the way, Jez? Who do you
team? Well, South London boy, Millwall.
Yeah. Oh, okay, right.
Bloody liar. You don't even like football.
Oh, okay. What about you, Nick?
Man United.
Manchester United, okay. Fair enough. Why is that?
Because I was born in Surrey, so obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, fair enough.
So you can check out the famous Brixton Mondays up in Edinburgh, and we've got, just remind us of the website again.
BrixtonMondays.co.uk. Tickets are available via that website, and everything about us.
Yeah. Well, best there, say, great idea. Best of luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Good to see
Thanks for the
Jez
time.
and Nick there.
Right.
Bit of cricket then. Let's check in with Georgie Heath. She's watching England's women take on India. How are we getting on, Georgie?
Well, England have just lost their 4th wicket. It is the birthday girl, Sophia Dunkley, who is watching Nat Siver stroll past her. So a little bit of strife here for England. Currently 97 for 4. They lost the 2 openers very early. There was a rebuild by Lamb and Siver Brunt in the middle. But just as you came to me now, that 4th wicket has fallen. So India, after losing the toss and being asked to bowl first, they are well on top in this first of the 3 ODIs. They have England women 97 for 4. Nat Siver Brunt just been dismissed for 41.
Newcastle can't afford to let Alexander Isak go. So says club legend Nobby Solano. Liverpool say they're willing to cough up the cash if he came up for sale. But the former Newcastle winger says he'd be surprised if the club decided to do that.
Eddie Howe was tried his best. He's tried to keep the best players in the team, especially for this season, because they have to face a lot of tournaments. You know, it's very important to keep you strong.
Elsewhere, we understand Arsenal's completed the £52 million move of Chelsea's Noni Madueke. The wingers signed a 5-year contract. Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career at the club where it all started. talkSPORT understands Watford are exploring a deal to re-sign him 18 years after he left. Get more transfer news at talksport.com. And Daniel Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk. And it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okoli. But he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover. So Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okoli's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We talk Super League every Thursday, but we're going to be talking Rugby League now because we've got 2 Ashes series to look forward to late this year. First up, it is in the world of Rugby League. The Aussies are coming to Headingley on the 8th of November. 8th of November. Everton first on the 1st of November. And 25th of October, I've got that all the wrong way round, isn't it? It's Wembley. What a Burke. What a Burke. Yeah, wrong way. Anyway, they're coming to Wembley, they're coming to Everton, and they're coming to Headingley. And, very much looking forward to it. And joining us now, we have the England and Warrington Wolves skipper, George Williams, and Rugby League legend. And I've been told to mention Widnes as well as Wigan, Martin, by one of the Widnes fans, because you started with them, is Martin of Fire. Good afternoon, guys. Good to see you.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
So, you've just had a little bit of a get-together with Sean Wayne, with the coach. I mean, a sort of just a bit of a practice session and a chat in readiment for this. And how was that?
Yeah, it was good. We can't really do anything physical. Obviously, there's so many games coming thick and fast, so we met up as a group, some new additions, which is always nice to see.
Yeah.
Young Carrie Robertson, I think he's 18 and 19, so it makes me feel very old, but good to see some
youth. You feel old?
Yeah. It's good to see some youth in the group. But yeah, it was nothing physical. It was just, obviously, we watched a few video clips. Sean's very hard to please. He's a tough taskmaster.
Yeah.
And he had it was an honest review, I like to say. He's got a certain standard, and it's just a standard that he wants to beat Australia, which we know is a big task. So it was a good meeting, but it weren't too pleasant.
Wasn't too okay. Well, he's got you in the mood.
Unlike rugby union, though, Australia in rugby league are special, aren't they? They're the gold standard, really.
Yeah, they're the ones who are the world champions. I don't think we've beaten them for a long, long time. So as players, it's a great challenge. I think as a group, we're ready for that. We beat Tonga 3-0, we beat Samoa 2-0. And now it's to play against the best, so great opportunity.
Yeah. You came up against him a good few times, Martin, didn't you, over the years?
Yeah, back in the 80s and 90s. Seems like a lifetime ago since we've had an Ashes series. You know, there's a few players who have missed out over the years, so it's good to see the Ashes back. Back at Wembley as well.
Yeah.
And, we've beaten them a few times there, and really looking forward to George and the boys continue that legacy and going one further and actually winning a series.
Because it's kind of more than England-Australia. It's kind of NRL versus Super League. There's that element to it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I think, if we're being honest, the NRL is superior to Super League. We're striving to get as big as they are. They do it really well over there, but by no means doesn't mean they're better than us.
No.
We're coming hard to beat them. It's a massive challenge, like I said before. But as players, these are the ones if you're not excited about, you're in the wrong job. So it's been a long time coming, and we can't wait.
It's always fascinating watching the State of the Union game, though. That is a high standard of rugby league, isn't it?
What, sorry?
Not the State
State of Origin.
State of Origin.
Yeah,
there we go.
You're thinking of Donald.
State of Origin.
You're thinking of Donald Trump.
It's a great game of rugby, though. It's a great trilogy.
It's a great watch, and that pretty much picks the Australian side, both teams. It's like a trial match so you can do a little bit of homework there in between too, which is always good. But that's a great standard again.
Yeah. What was your best moment against the Aussies, Martin? Can you remember?
I'll probably have to say 92 down in Melbourne. I think it was a record defeat for the Kangaroos that day after coming close and having a few duels with Australian legend Andrew Ettenhausen. Managed to get over the line and just at the end of the game, and I know it might have been a bit of a forward pass off Gary Schofield. He doesn't like me saying that, but managed to get round ET that night, so that's probably, along with obviously playing at Wembley in the first test in 1990 as well.
Yeah,
I was at Wembley in '94 when you scored that amazing try.
Yeah, I just realised George wasn't even born.
We had this conversation before, didn't we?
And that's nuts, isn't it? I was thinking, did George? Because you're a Wigan lad, so you would have been. You probably watched the old videos back and stuff. But yeah, you weren't born for about 3 or 4 months after that game, which is quite.
And he's talking about feeling old. My best year, he wasn't even born.
But you are wearing well, Martin, I must say. You wouldn't know that, would you? Really?
Yeah. Trying to stay alive long enough just to see these boys win at Wembley and win the series. I said, I had my moment. Now it's a new time, a new dawn, opportunity for a new cohort of players, and really looking forward to that first test on the 25th of October. It is a moment in time, and I implore all fans of rugby league, not only fans of rugby league, but fans of English sport, to get out there. It's a moment in time. And if Sean Wayne and the boys, along with George and Jack Welsby, who's on the trophy tour with us today as well, to put their best foot forward, it could be a great moment for English sport.
And getting off to a good start. I mean, obviously that'll raise their game because it's Wembley and stuff, and they'll be aware of that, and hopefully you'll have a full house and it'll be rocking. So the Aussies, they'll get a lift from that as well. But if you can make a good start in the series and then go to Everton and then go to Headingley, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be massive. And speaking to Martin before, he was talking about the memories and his whole good winning and stuff. He said, but they're the best memories of his life, pretty much. Talked about his Wembley tries before, and like I said, we had a laugh before that I wasn't even born. I'd YouTubed it, don't you worry, I've seen it plenty of times. Yeah. But it's iconic. It's iconic. If we can pull this off, if we make England great again in rugby league, as known as best in the world, it'll be iconic. So something that we're striving for.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a bit of Super League as well at the moment. And Christian Wade has just started playing, hasn't he? He's kind of cross codes. You played him both over the years, mine, and try on debut, and he looked good. He's that low centre of gravity. He's a tough man to stop when he gets going, isn't he?
He looked sharp. I was actually watching a game with Henderson Gill, another Wigan legend, and he definitely reminded me of a young Henderson Gill. He's got that acceleration, that pace, and definitely he's got an opportunity now at Wigan. Obviously, Liam Marshall's out. Abbas Miski, has had problems with his knee this year as well. So need a strong squad. It's a very competitive Super League this season. Obviously, Wigan had the perfect season last year, but this year there's a couple of teams at the top. I'd say, George, you believe that they've probably got an opportunity to take that trophy. So yeah, it's very exciting times, and to add someone like Christian Wade into the mix, with his rugby union and NFL background, it just brings a bit more attention onto the sport as well.
And you've got them in a few weeks, haven't you? Are you playing them, Wigan? You think you've got so you'll be coming up against him. Good chance, I would think.
Yeah, it'd be good. On Warrington's behalf, we're chasing the playoffs, so every game for us now is so crucial. Like I said, Wigan, OKR and Leeds, and there's a couple of teams above us that are flying, but I think there's ourselves, Hull FC and Wakefield, that are really battling for that last playoff spot, so every game's like a final. And yeah, we're playing some of the best teams on that run, so we've got a tough task.
Yeah, it's been a funny season for you, really, isn't it? I mean, you've had you're on a good run at the moment, which has put you in that playoff position. A good win. You were part of that, the little grubber that. And you got the winning try at the end against Catalans, but. Yeah, it's been a funny old season, but you kind of seem to be peaking at the right time.
Yeah, in sport, as you know, momentum's massive. I think we've not played brilliantly, but we're winning, and I'll take that 100% and playing well and losing. So, yeah, we're just trying to build some momentum at the moment. We've had a roller coaster here, a couple of injuries here and there to key players. But yeah, look, that's gone now. We know we've got 8 or 9 regular games left of the season, and we're going to charge at that and head to the playoffs, because as you know, once you're in there, it's anybody's game.
We came up to Warrington for the opening night. Was it last season?
No, it was the season before. Yeah.
And it was just great. I mean, I've seen the game on telly and I've seen it at Wembley in the final, but it's different watching it in the heartland. It's a different feeling, different experience.
It is a great sport. I mean, it's a shame. Something will come on to. I mean, you were part of Broncos, the early days of the Broncos. And, you know, that they were able to play Super League last year. It is tough, isn't it? It's tough to get a foothold for the game outside the heartland. I mean, Catalans, you know, they've managed it, but we have Wolfpack over in Toronto. But it's just hard. And a good team in the capital would be good, wouldn't it, Martin?
Yeah, it'd be great if, you know, the London... I know Gary Hetherington's taken over the London Broncos now, and there's talk about rebranding, there's talk about potential investment coming from the NRL. But, yeah, I think that Rugby League would benefit from having a strong team in the capital who are competitive. You know, I was part of the dream when Richard Branson and his Virgin company took over at London Broncos in the mid-90s. I said it took a lot to get me out of Wigan, and Richard Branson sold us the dream. Really, he led us out at Wembley in the 1999 Challenge Cup final, and we nearly got over the line against the Rhinos. It didn't happen, and then things sort of faded after that. So it would be nice to see London come back strong again.
What's it like coming down for the games in London from your point of view?
I enjoy it. Yeah. I like it, yeah. I think we need to grow the game. I know we've tried really hard with the London stuff, but I think York are trying to expand. I think Bradford are on the rise again to come back into Super League. The more teams, the merrier. I know you mentioned Toronto, that didn't work, but as you said before you came to the game, the product's good. We just need to get it to more eyes and market it as best we can. And I know everyone's trying the best. So, as a sport, we just need to get it out there and so hopefully it takes off.
It was great to see Billy Boston. Yeah, no, it was great for the sport and great for him.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember him playing.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
No, yeah, showing your age now.
A little while ago, we were chatting at Junior and Sember. We did a show and he popped in and saw us just for the Challenge Cup final, and we were explaining Floodlit Rugby League to him, which was a telly show
on BBC Two.
Eddie Waring was the commentator, and they would just show you the second half. You kind of get sketchy highlights of the first half. It would come about 8:10 in the evening. You just get the second half of the game in black. That's all you got. The coverage has changed a bit.
Back in the day, I think before I'd even come to rugby league, even on the BBC on Grandstand, they used to show some just going to a game. You'd be like, "What's the score?"
Just join the match.
But those were the days that there was a lot of rugby league on terrestrial TV, and there was some. I know it was the days when obviously rugby union was amateur, so a lot of players like Jonathan Davis and myself, went over to the sport of rugby league. But now it's a new dawn, and I really do feel that this Ashes series is a chance for, the likes of Julian and December and Jaws to stake their claim and, to really become, national figures and take precedence in this country. As we've said, it's a great product, but, a win against the Aussies would be a definite shot in the arm for the
It's amazing how much Union has taken from league there. Just look at Andy Farrell for us.
We'll come on to that. But it all kicks off at Wembley 25th of October. We'll give you details a little bit later on about tickets. I think you can still get tickets for Wembley, but I think Everton and Headingley are pretty much sold out, aren't they? Which is brilliant. And now it's going to be great to play at the new Everton Stadium, isn't it? Brand new stadium now.
Yeah, it is, apart from a Liverpool fan. But no, seriously, it looks brilliant. It looks great. So to sell it out shows the demand and people want to come watching the game. So yeah, I think obviously Wembley's the next one. If we can get that sold out, that will be absolutely, unreal.
We'll talk about one of the other things unique about Rugby League, and that'll almost certainly, for everybody in England and Aussie shirts, there'll be people in their club shirts at that game. We'll talk about that in a few moments' time. Martin of Fire is with us and George Williams, and we're looking ahead to the Rugby League Ashes later this year. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs. We're with Toolstation. Download the Toolstation app for fast-track delivery on thousands of products. Next stop, Toolstation.
time for another chapter in the history of that famous red jersey.
We cannot afford our emotional energy to dip whatsoever. You know why? Because there is no tomorrow.
And Argentina win! The British and Irish Lions players are standing, partially stunned.
You shock yourself by taking yourself to another level.
Keenan puts the ball into Dylan van der Merwe's hands. Van der Merwe has a hat-trick. And it's another Scottish try.
Because that's what being a Lion's about.
Lions have their fourth try of the evening.
As a British and Irish rugby player, this is what you dream of.
When it came to the test, they were a different beast. That's when they really ramp it up.
Pollock's got it back and he's barreling his way forward. Up and over the 22. Keeps going. 5 metres out. Can he get the offload away? Yes, he can.
It ain't about taking part. It ain't about being here. It's about winning.
Ben White. Cummings goes over and scores a try. It's another Scotland try.
They won't have that. They won't have that. Make it your point of difference.
Get ready for the Road of the Lions here on talkSPORT.
From now on, gloves are off.
Yes, before we have the Ashes in Rugby League, we've got a little matter of the Lions over in Australia. See if I can get some psychological blows. We'll bring you that first test on talkSPORT on Saturday morning, all the build-up from 10 o'clock. The Might and Fire and George Williams are with us, and we're looking ahead to the Rugby League Ashes that get underway at Wembley on Saturday the 25th of October. Tickets for the games, we said, I think Everton and Headingley are sold out, but you can still get tickets for Wembley. Rugby-league/Ashes to get your tickets for the game. George, you're going to be watching. Will you watch the Ashes if you get the the Lions if you get a chance?
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I don't really understand too. The thing is, the two games are completely different.
Yeah.
So sometimes a penalty will be blown. I know I'm into it. Obviously, I play rugby league and I don't understand the rules, so I watch it out of interest, but I don't actually have any knowledge on it. So it's just a bit of fun.
Well, from your point of view, Mark, you obviously played both. Does it take? Is there a sort of period of adjustment to get used to it all?
I'll tell you this: I've played rugby like all my childhood and 4 years as an adult. And I still don't know what happens in scrums. The funny thing about it is when sometimes like Twickenham, like even rugby fans don't, when they give a penalty at the ruck or at scrum, mate, no one knows unless they've got the referee in their ear. They don't know. So it's a tough game. But getting back to the Ashes, yes, definitely looking forward to that. Obviously, even the Lions have got an ex-teammate of mine, Andy Farrell, who a Lions teammate and a Wigan teammate as their head coach. So rugby league, it spreads its net far and wide.
It does, and a lot of
countries have got Six Nations
have benefited.
Well. Yeah,
Sean Edwards and lots of other people
I think that great Wigan team that I was part of, the likes of Sean Edwards, myself, Jason Robinson, Chris Radlinski, so many players, Scott Quinnell, Viaga Tugamala, the great All Black great. So, Wigan and the sport of rugby league as a whole has given a lot to the world.
Do many make the journey in the other direction? I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, obviously Jonathan Davis, back in the old amateur days, there was quite a few who came across, a lot of the Welsh boys came across to rugby league as well.
To coach, I'm trying to think to coach and have those sorts of roles.
I'm not sure many rugby union coaches come over, but, there's many that have gone over, Mike Forshaw, Paul Deacon, there's too many to mention.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. If they only watch rugby union, they don't watch rugby league. They'll be surprised by the speed of the game and in some ways the simplicity of the game. And you don't get bogged down.
It's quietly, it's a much better game.
Yeah, I think you don't get bogged down in scrums. Scrums just a mean to an end to keep the ball back in play, isn't it? And that's one of the things I like about watching it.
Yeah, me too. That's the reason I like to play it. It's fast, it's fierce, and like I say, when you come watching it, it's brilliant to watch. So I'm not the biggest rugby player, so the quicker it is, the better for me. So something I've loved since a young boy. And if you're talking about speed and ferociousness, come and watch the Ashes because that'll be the top of the top.
Yeah, there's been Great Britain have toured in the past. Well, it was 2019 was the last one. You on that?
I was on there.
Yeah.
It wasn't very successful. I don't think we won a game.
I watched the film.
Yeah, it wasn't too great.
Yeah,
but we've got an opportunity now. Like I said before, it's an iconic series if we get it right.
Yeah, you were part of the Great Britain teams as well in the past, were you, Martin?
Yes, toured in '88. Famously won that third test at Sydney Football Stadium. And then back out in '92 for another close series. Yeah. So I've had a few stints out in Australia as well as the man next to me has, with Canberra. So the Aussies, it's not a mystery. I just think as long as we've got belief and the boys out there and realise what a great opportunity it is just to be out there to play. As I said, it's not been a Ashes series for over 20 years, so it's a fantastic opportunity. Not only for the boys but for the British public to get out and be part of history.
We're going to see a bit of Suoli as well, who's has been big in the NRL and is now playing for the Wallabies. You played out there, George, but he didn't really start till you'd come back. Is that right, or did you see him play or play against him?
I played against him in the World Cup over here. He played for Samoa.
Oh, of course.
He was brilliant. I think he might have only been 19 at the time, and he was just so physically strong, fast. I thought this kid's got it. I've watched him play rugby league, and he probably didn't after that World Cup. He probably didn't kick on like I thought he would. But now watching him, I think like he's found his stride in Union, and he's a superstar of the game, League and Union.
Yeah, he could be one of the breakout stars of the Lions tour, couldn't he? Because there's a lot of talk about him. He big hits, that sort of rugby league style hits.
I think I actually got to see. I think it might have been his debut when he played against England at Twickenham in the autumn internationals, and I mean, very, very inexperienced with regard to rugby union, but you could just see with his athleticism and his ball skills, and that's the thing about rugby league. It is, it's very important that you're handling your ball skills and creative, because if you drop the ball, you can't win it back at another ruck. You lose it for 6 tackles. So he did stand out, and obviously he's been fast tracked to the Wallabies, and
Did you play in that first cross-code game? Was it Wigan against Bath?
Yeah. I played in the Middlesex Sevens. I was part of that Wigan team that won the Middlesex Sevens against Wasps in '96, and then we played those cross-code games against Bath. Played them at Rugby League at Main Road, and then at Rugby Union rules in.
I went to the one at Twickenham. The interesting thing was the fitness levels, because it was still the amateur era then, wasn't it? Or was it just the pro era? I'm trying to think.
I think it was just the beginning of professional rugby union, and
the rugby league boys. I think because we were well on top in the game at Twickenham, and then suddenly that extra fitness of being professional started to tell a bit, and they ran a few tries in.
Yeah, it was, especially the Sevens team, that was the first time, obviously with Andy Farrell and Sean Edwards, in the team. It was the first time I'd heard the phrase defence wins games, because we couldn't ruck, we couldn't maul, we couldn't scrummage, but we could defend, because we were used to defending for long periods of time. If you get back-to-back sets of sixes, it was pretty tough, and I don't think that, obviously, well, I know that they couldn't compete with that, so we just knew that if we defended, we'd eventually, they would cough up the ball and we'd get it and we'd score. And we had the likes of Jason Robson, myself, and Henry Paul to finish off the tries.
George, you've still got a lot of rugby league to play, and obviously you're hoping to be in the playoffs and go deep into the season. So what's the sort of timetable from an England point? You've got more get-togethers coming together for the squad, and when's the squad going to be announced?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on the announcement of the final squad. I think we've got a broader squad of 32 over in England, and then we've probably got 10 or 11 in the NRL that are up for selection too. So there's a big bunch of players that needs to be selected down to 24 maybe. But as for the meetings, I think we will definitely get one in before the end of the season. We've only got 8 or 9 games left now, and then it'll all depend how far your team goes within the playoffs. If you say we don't make the playoffs, there'll be a train-on squad that trains separately away from the club, just building up the fitness, maintaining fitness for the games at the end of the season.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fantastic. It starts at Wembley Saturday, 25th of October, on to Everton Stadium, 1st of November, and I got it right all of this time. Headingley on the 8th of November.
You didn't call it a State of the Union.
No, you didn't call it a State of the Union.
It's a great thing for a rugby league.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Should we play Martin's Try? Let's play that try, shall we?
You want to do it?
Let's have a listen. Here we go.
And Martin a fire, trying to make some space. Now then, Martin a fire. He's got Alan Tate to beat on the outside. I'm sure he's going to go the full length. That is one sensational try. That must rank amongst the finest ever seen on this ground. Wigan were under pressure. Wigan almost had points against them. And this man, Martin a fire, the world's most lethal try scorer, the whole length of the field, and they are in the lead.
There we are. Do you watch it now and again, Marty?
It comes up on TikTok now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But it's my bit of legacy. Obviously, it's the try that made a celebration, that made a statue. But really looking forward to going back to Wembley on the 25th and seeing George and these boys create a bit of history, and it'll just be an honour and a pleasure to be there to watch it.
It'd be nice to have a try like that, wouldn't it? I would think. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think I've got that in. Any try will do.
Great to hear good old Ray French.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah. Martin, George, thanks ever so much for coming in, and we wish you well for the rest of the season with Warrington, and indeed for those games. I'm sure we'll be talking about it a lot in the build-up, so maybe we'll chat again, but good to see you both. Thank you. Martin Fire and George Williams.
And make sure you've got those England jerseys on the 25th.
Oh, not much, definitely.
of October.
We got the England shirts, well, that's fantastic. Thank you, fellas, lovely. I'm sure we'll be talking Super League tomorrow. We have got Saints versus Lee tomorrow for you. That's on talkSPORT 2 at 8 o'clock. Still to come this afternoon, Henrik Stenson joins us for a chat ahead of the Open. We're in Rio with Tim Vickery, and we'll look at some of the big transfer stories of the day. That's all to come.
Newcastle can't afford to let Alexander Isak go. So says club legend Nobby Solano. Liverpool say they're willing to cough up the cash if he came up for sale. But the former Newcastle winger says he'd be surprised if the club decided to do that.
Eddie Howe was tried his best. He's tried to keep the best players in the team, especially for this season, because they have to face a lot of tournaments. You know, it's very important to keep you strong.
Elsewhere, we understand Arsenal's completed the £52 million move of Chelsea's Noni Madueke. The wingers signed a 5-year contract. Our chief football correspondent Alex Crook says it's a transfer that's receiving mixed reviews.
Profit for Chelsea, I think they paid around £29 million to bring him to Stamford Bridge. So I guess if you're a Chelsea fan, if you're Todd Bowley, you'll say, well, this is the model working. You sign players for one fee and you sell them for a profit. Arsenal fans aren't exactly welcoming Madueke.
Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career at the club where it all started. talkSPORT understands Watford are exploring a deal to re-sign him 18 years after he left. Get more transfer news at talksport.com. It's expected that both Jasprit Bumrah and Rishabh Pant will play in the 4th test against England next week. It says England have been fined 10% of their match fee from the 3rd test with India after maintaining a slow over rate. They've also been docked 2 World Test Championship points. And Daniel Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk, and it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okolie, but he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
It's a balance. He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover, so Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okolie's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, where Henrik Stenson will be joining us live from the Open. They're getting underway tomorrow. The win, of course, in 2016. And we'll look at some of the big transfer stories of the day with Ben Jacobs later on today. Marcus Rashford to Liverpool.
Would be a shocker.
Blimey.
I think it's 61 years since a player went from United to Liverpool.
Well. So we'll talk to Ben about that a little bit later on. And, it's a story about Edison, isn't there? Interesting. We'll bring you the best of that a little bit later on. But anything else, Andy?
Erling Haaland, who obviously will be playing for City this season, he was at a fashion show yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I did see that in a white suit.
White suit. He looked tremendous, actually. Yeah. Also, there was Anna Winter.
Oh, yeah. She gets about, doesn't she?
Stop wearing those sunglasses indoors. Get a new hairstyle.
Do you think she's got some, what's the word they use? I can't remember, some sort of eye issue?
No. I think it's
think she's got astigmatism or something?
No, I think it says she doesn't have to look at people straight in the, in the eye sort of thing,
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe she got a touch of what they call the Ben Turpins. I don't know.
Maybe she has got an eye problem. I don't know. I wouldn't like to say she hasn't.
I wouldn't think so. If the glasses ever came off and we got... Of course not. Well, I wouldn't wish that on her. Of course not, Anna. That isn't why you wear them. It's more...
She loves
It's more a cool thing, really. It's more a cool thing.
Now, if I read you this letter that was sent to a newspaper, and I'm going to ask you which newspaper this went to.
Okay.
It came from Shimon Cohen of London.
Yeah.
He said... On the day that the England and women's football teams competed in an international match, Sir Keir Starmer chose to don a full England kit while himself playing football.
Yeah.
Perhaps he needs reminding that he was elected Prime Minister of the UK. So you'd say that would be the Star, wouldn't you?
Is that not the Daily Record?
No. It was the Times.
Oh.
Can you believe the Times would publish a nonsense
And actually,
like
he
that?
had an England shirt on. He had a pair
what?
of chonky shorts.
I know.
And just a pair of generic white socks.
Honestly, people see something terrible. There was nothing to see terrible in that. You couldn't take that from that, could you? That he didn't feel that he was like the Prime Minister of the UK because he wore an England shirt. I mean,
Nick was listening earlier on. He said, I once played football against Martin of Fire when he played for Wolverston Hall. I had to apologise for fouling him because he was too quick. He smiled and laughed it off. I imagine, he just sort of bounced off you. His son's at Tottenham, he was telling us. One of his boys plays rugby for Bath and has been playing England under 20s. And his other lad's as a young lad at Spurs. So, yeah, obviously. It's in the genes, isn't it, Andy? As you can imagine.
Very much so, yeah. No, he was a tremendous player, so no question about it. This one as well. This is a mad letter as well, this one. As it's Women's Euros, we don't need male officials who just spoil the games. It's better without them. The female officials are brilliant, apparently.
Yeah. They've having a good work.
The women play much better football than the men, as I find men's games are boring and not worth watching. Come on, England, says somebody in Luton who doesn't really...
Somebody in Luton.
Yeah,
okay, I may go and make them feel special. Yeah, thank you very much for that.
It's tremendous.
Somebody says they're going to send us definitive photographic evidence of Andy being right about Jane Torville being in the studio. I don't doubt at some point she was in the studio.
It was.
I doubt that she looked at Andy and went, ha, 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 to his face.
She did.
Do you think she did?
She did, absolutely she did.
Because I know it bothered you over the years.
I've never got over it, really.
Yeah.
I should learn to live with it, really, after all this time.
How did you expect Jane Torville to react? By holding up a sort of 10 card? It's a 10 from the... I suppose so.
It wasn't so much that. I mean, look, everybody makes a joke that people don't...
Stephen in Hackney was. Thank you, Stephen.
People don't find your jokes funny. That's fine.
Yeah.
But, you either greet it with silence or a little smile, but not a sarcastic ha-ha like that.
It's obviously
It's
bothered you.
completely unnecessary.
It's been 20 years, Andy.
Well, I don't care.
She gave you, I mean, obviously Charlie Baker does it to you every week.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's true. And also, he doesn't do it as badly to me as he does to Jeff, so I feel all right about that.
Yeah.
I like this headline in the Times. Want your photo taken with Obama? That'll be £3,500. No, you're all right.
Yeah. Are you going to say you want your photo taken with a barmaid?
No, Barack Obama.
Oh, okay, right.
A hospitality company is charging £3,500 to have a photo taken with Barack Obama at an event in which the cheapest VIP ticket costs £595.
Oh, okay.
Which, I'm sure it's all for charity and all that, but even so,
Well, you haven't got. I mean, you're not going, are you? Why are you getting so upset about it? Where is it happening?
In New York.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it isn't. It's in the O2 Arena in London.
Oh, okay. There's a big difference.
Big difference, yeah.
Fantastic.
Sorry about that.
We asked you about cheating. Apparently, Donald Trump does not cheat at golf, says the bloke he employs to look after his course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could argue he's got a vested interest. Said, I've seen him go, he's brilliant. He said, he's a busy man, though, so now and again he might just let a little putt go. A little putt. Apparently it's worse than that. I once competed in an army athletic competition, says John in York, in the 400-metre race and won. What nobody noticed was I started in the 5th lane and finished in the 1st lane. Nobody particularly knew, and nobody realised. I think surely they'd pick that up, wouldn't they?
It's a bit of cheating.
Yes. TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet to TSH and J, 03717 223344 to get in touch this afternoon. We're going to be chatting to Tim Vickery next. We'll have some weird and wonderful stories from the world of South American football. Maybe we can find out a bit more about this Edison story. There's also suggestions that Richarlison could be heading back to Brazil, which was obviously never an option when we first spoke to Tim. There was never the money really for players to go out.
And the scouting report on Wolves' new player, Arias, would be interesting as well.
Yeah.
I liked him when I saw him in the Club World Cup.
Absolutely. We'll find out more about that. But now it's time for this.
Big fight preview on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Usyk versus Dubois on the 19th of July. Live only on DAZN. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
Yes, last Saturday, talkSPORT hosted a fight night special looking ahead to this weekend's massive fight as Usyk takes on Dubois. That's live on talkSPORT. Adam Cattrall and Gareth A. Davis were joined by light heavyweight boxer Anthony Yard on the show, and they asked him if we're likely to see a Tom and Jerry type fight on Saturday. Let's take another
been saying Tom and Jerry recently.
Yeah.
This is definitely a Tom and Tom fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a Tom and Tom.
Actually,
maybe Jerry and Jerry.
I would say a Jerry and Jerry fight because Jerry was the smart guy.
Yeah.
he was the one winning. Yeah, he was running, but he was almost like a Floyd Mayweather, like setting traps, and he beat up Tom all the time. So I don't know.
I got nothing wrong with Shakur being a Jerry either.
No.
If he produces
as long
against
as he smacks him
Belanga
with a
tonight
frying
as
pan,
well.
it's fine, mate.
Yeah, exactly. As long as he wins the fight through his technicality and his skills and all those things against Belanga, I'm happy with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Against
Zapata, sorry. I mean.
For me, it just depends if the tactics work. The counter left hook, counter right hand. This is why these are called counters. The person is chasing, they get countered with a left hook. So it's entertaining. It's a perfect analogy for boxing.
There we are. Not a lot of clothes in that clip.
If you're watching a sauna there.
Yeah. Anthony's topless, but I suppose if you've got that sort of body, you want to show it off. And Gareth A. Davis just wearing a waistcoat and no shirt. So,
yes, but he likes to show himself.
Thankfully, our next guest, if you are watching on Connect TV, is already very well turned out.
Always
fully clothed, despite the temperatures over there. And we'll be chatting to Tim Vickery. But don't forget, you can listen again to the full Fight Night special on the TalkSPORT app. And don't miss a moment of the action this Saturday. Watch Usyk versus Dubois live only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com. That's DAZN.com/boxing.
Big fight preview on talkSPORT with DAZN. Watch Usyk versus Dubois on the 19th of July. Live only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Time to talk South American football now, as always,
Yes.
with our man in Rio, Tim Vickery. Good afternoon, Tim.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Yeah, I'm wearing a top from a brand called Mr. Bridger in tribute to Noel Coward's character in the Italian Job, obviously. I did enjoy all that stuff about cheating. It brought back happy memories of Terry Thomas and School for Scoundrels.
Yes.
Absolute shower. Absolute shower.
Beautiful old reference. So
we did wonder if Carlo Ancelotti, had he done time, which seems very unlikely for this tax business, whether he would have been like Mr. Bridger. I would imagine it would have been very similar, wouldn't it? The Brazilian Job, or whatever it was.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know who the Brazilian Michael Caine would be, who would break into my toilet. I don't know who would do that. But it seems for these offences, first offence in Spain, you can just pay a fine and everyone moves on.
I just want to ask him a question. Are Flamengo claiming they're world champions because they beat Chelsea? I bet they are.
That was the story of the final. It was are Flamengo the moral champions, or are Botafogo the moral champions? Because one beat Chelsea, the other beat Paris Saint-Germain.
So funny.
Yes, there's a lot of that going on. A lot of it.
But they were dancing in the streets of Quito apparently because of Chelsea's win.
Yeah, well, I actually think Ecuador won this competition through the presence of Moses Caicedo and the absence of the PSG centre-back, William Pacho, who was suspended. He's a left-sided centre-back. And Chelsea and Enzo Maresca set up the thing really intelligent, I think, because he managed to transform PSG's strength into a weakness. Those attacking fullbacks who just crash through your pressing lines, but they can't be in two places at the same time. So Chelsea, with Caicedo winning the ball, winning the midfield battles early, and then just planting into that space behind the attacking left-back, where usually you'd expect the left-sided centre-back, the big Ecuadorian William Pacho, to just come and clean up. But the reserve centre-back, the Brazilian Beraldo, nothing like as authoritative. And that's, I think, where Chelsea won the game. Who would have thunk it? 40 years ago, Ecuador were a kind of Luxembourg of South American football. And here they are producing the kind of players who can be decisive at this level.
It's true.
Yeah. We wanted to talk about a couple of the transfer stories. There's been a story about Richarlison potentially heading home to Brazil. Have you heard much about this, Tim?
Well, just a few whispers, because the teams that have come back from the Club World Cup, they got a lot of money. There's a lot of money burning, and so suddenly a move like this is a possibility. Now you scan round Europe and you think, well, they got all this money, but who can they persuade to come back? And it's very unlikely they can do that with someone in their prime doing well in Europe. But that's not really the case with Richarlison, is it? He's been one injury after another. I think actually ever since Everton, and this was a sign that Everton were going to let him go, they let him play in 21. They let him play the Copa America and the Olympics. So he didn't have any rest at all. It's an illustration to me of the danger that we're flirting with the players by making them play too many times. And since then, Paul, as you know, at Tottenham, it's been one injury after another injury and one injury after another injury.
Yeah.
So he might be up for it. So that's a possibility. But apart from that, you look around and you think they got all this money. who can they persuade to turn their backs on Europe and come back? You can always get veterans like Jorginho, for example, who's just slotted right in. You can bring him back, but those in their prime, if they're doing well, tough. Richarlison, maybe they've just got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, so even suggesting 55 million, which is kind of roughly what they paid for him. Palmeiras might pay. That does seem a bit steep, doesn't it? Even though there is more money in Brazil.
Well, yeah, and on Palmeiras, they broke the Brazilian transfer record for a centre forward already. They bought Victor Roque from Barcelona. He was on loan at Betis. He really hadn't come off. He's still a kid. But I think he is indicative of the trend, the worrying trend for me, of just going straight for Real Madrid or Barcelona. The João Pedro story, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Watford, Brighton, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Because some of them are good enough just to go straight in. Some of them. But most of them, I think, and that's the way the people used to do it. But then Real Madrid thought, well, why do we pay the middleman when we can buy 10 of these kids, and if 2 come off, it's great for us. Not so great for the other 8, who've lost momentum in their career. So, and Victor Roque suffered, I think, from going straight to Barcelona and just being overwhelmed by the whole experience. And I don't think he's recovered yet. So, they've already broke the Brazilian transfer record, bringing 1 centre forward back, and now it's possible that they'll do it with another one.
Yeah,
I say Endrick is a great example of that, isn't he? I mean,
yes.
he was so touted, he scored against England and he looked brilliant.
Yeah,
but he hardly played, didn't he, last season?
No, and his figures, his numbers were quite good when he did play. But he went to a club that didn't need him. Real Madrid, it's questionable, really, if they really needed Mbappe last season. I don't think Ancelotti really wanted him. He worked out a way to play without the centre forward, with Vini attacking the space, and it worked very well. And then they brought in Mbappe, and Endrick, just don't need him. And so I'm sure he's learned something from it, but really he's probably wasted a year, hasn't he?
Yeah. When Ancelotti comes to pick his World Cup squad, for Brazil, Tim, how many players you expect to be playing in the Brazilian league? I mean, it's always been dominated by Europe, but the fact there's more money, the fact that players are coming back, the fact the quality's been up, do you expect to see players picked from the Brazilian league?
I think there'll be some, and I think part of that will be politics. He's very, very political. You don't survive at the clubs that he's survived in without being political. And a mate of mine knows him, wrote a book with him, and asked him, what do you do? And Ancelotti's answer was, I make the president happy. So, that's what he does. And there's no doubt about it. It goes down very well here if you pick some. And so there's for political reasons, if nothing else, he will be open to having some. Like, and he did this with Odegaard at Real Madrid. The order came from on high, from Perez. We want this kid to play when he was like 16, 17. And Ancelotti thought, well, he's not really good enough for the big games, but, we'll give him a game here and there. So he's a very political figure. So I'm sure that there will be some. And straight away on his first week over here, he was going to 3 or 4 games. And that goes down well. And now he's got his son coaching Botafogo.
Yeah.
His son is with the help of Andy Morgan, a former Stockport County coach. Stockport County, Rio. That's a bit of a change, isn't it? So, his son, who says that his all of the time that he spent as Carlo's assistant, his main task was to disagree with his dad. That's what they did mainly. Now his son will be pumping him with information about players in the Brazilian league because he's working in it.
Yeah. I don't think we talked about this last week. Forest had gone back to Botafogo for Jair Cunha, 20-year-old defender. 6'6", one of the lads who works here, Ollie, was in Brazil last year and went to a game and saw Botafogo play and was impressed with this lad, said he was a beast.
Well, if it was last year, he wouldn't have seen him.
Because maybe it was earlier this year.
He was with Santos last year when they were in the second division. Got promoted. They got promoted, but Botafogo came for him. I'm not entirely convinced. He had a great game when they beat Paris Saint-Germain. Terrific game. But Botafogo were defending very, very deep, very deep. In the previous game against Seattle Sounders, they tried to defend higher up the field and he couldn't do it. So I worry about him in open space. I know Forest are a side that do defend deep, so he might not be too exposed. But also, I think despite his size, I think he can be bullied. I don't know if you saw their game against Atletico Madrid, where Madrid had a goal ruled out for a little push that the centre forward did on him. And I think most times the centre forward would probably have got away with it. But if you're 6'6", you shouldn't be letting the opposing centre forward bully you. So I think he might struggle a little bit. I'm not as sold on him as I am on the centre forward that they brought in, Igor Jesus, who I think is fantastic.
What about Wolves and John Arias? What do you make of him? 'Cause
I love Arias.
Yeah, he looked great in the Club World Cup.
I remember saying on Brazilian TV a couple of years ago that if I had the money, I'd buy him just to stand him on the mantelpiece. You know, Fluminense picked him up for nothing in Colombia. You know, he wasn't particularly rated, and he's probably been the best player in Brazilian football. And it really surprised me when he didn't go after. I don't know if you remember the game against Man City, the end of 2023, the Intercontinental, when City just walked through and beat them 4-0. But Arias, he looked. You know, he carried the fight. He looked totally at home in that company. With Fluminense, he gets very much a free role. He'll play not so much on the right wing as from the right wing. He can wander across, combines really well. What he does, so he's a squat little figure. He turns so well and surges. Got a mean free kick in him as well. Very, very good taker of set pieces. For Colombia, he plays a totally different role. Because Colombia are carrying James Rodriguez, you got to sacrifice a little bit. So for Colombia, he plays usually as one of a very, very disciplined central midfield trio. So he'll do whatever you want. And the only thing that has stopped him coming, I think, so far is age. Because the European clubs now, they want to rip him from the cradle. You know, they want 18-year-olds. And Arias is now 27. But it surprised me that he didn't go a couple of years ago. And now, obviously, he's used the Club World Cup as his shop window. But I think there's a little jewel there. I think he's a wonderful player.
Well, Wolves fans will be delighted to hear that, won't they? Excellent.
Yeah.
Tim, we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks very much.
You'll catch up with me next week in the studio. So roll out any red carpets that you got.
Yeah,
I want to see them.
We'll do that. Thank you, Tim. We look forward to it. There's Tim Vickery in the flesh, live and unleashed.
We'll have to get dressed up.
He's very smart. We'll have to put our sort of Bada Bing style gear on. But yeah, Tim will be with us at the same time next week. Henrik Stenson will be in. We'll be chatting to. Tees off in the Open tomorrow. He was part of a very memorable Open in recent years, that battle with Phil Mickelson at Royal Troon. Anyway, we'll hopefully have a chat with him in a few moments' time.
Newcastle can't afford to let Alexander Isak go. So says club legend Nobby Solano. Liverpool say they're willing to cough up the cash if he came up for sale. But the former Newcastle winger says he'd be surprised if the club decided to do that.
Eddie Howe was tried his best. He's tried to keep the best players in the team, especially for this season because they have to face a lot of tournaments. You know, it's very important to keep you strong.
Elsewhere, we understand Arsenal's completed the £52 million move of Chelsea's Noni Madueke. The wingers signed a 5-year contract. Meanwhile, a 4-year contract is on the table for Ethan Nwaneri to stay at Arsenal. And at 40 years old, Ashley Young is looking to end his career at the club where it all started. talkSPORT understands Watford are exploring a deal to re-sign him 18 years after he left. Get more transfer news at talksport.com. And Daniel Dubois' personality has apparently changed since his first fight with Usyk. And it's made him more relaxed in the ring. So says British heavyweight fighter Lawrence Okoli. But he adds Dubois' got to be careful this weekend.
He has to put the pressure on because, as we know, Usyk's a fantastic boxer and mover. So Dan's real chances by knockout.
Okoli's on the undercard for Usyk versus Dubois 2.0. Hear all the night's action live on talkSPORT.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. The Open gets underway at Royal Portrush over in Northern Ireland tomorrow. And joining us now for a quick chat, the winner of the 2016 Open, of course, at Troon, the High Noon at Troon, as it was known. Incredible Sunday that was. Henrik Stenson joins us. Hi, Henrik.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, we're good. Again, we've been asking various sports people today whether they go back to their great moments. Do you ever re-watch 2016?
Yeah, I watched a few swings over the years. Absolutely, it's obviously brings back some good memories, some good mojo. So yeah, maybe that's instead of watching some Netflix tonight, maybe that's what I should watch.
Bit of visualization.
Put you in the mood. That's right.
It.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you make of the course at Portrush?
It's very similar to what we saw in 2019 when we played here for, well, not the first time, but it was kind of the first time. And it's some minor changes. They lengthened the fourth through another tee box back about 25-30 yards, I believe, and then some small moderations to the seventh green. Otherwise, it's pretty much identical, I'd say. So yeah, it's a tough track, a good track, and we'll see what the weather brings us. I think we got a bit of a mixed bag in the forecast.
We could see a bit of rain tomorrow. That's right. That's what the word is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll play early, and hopefully on my end, I hope that it can hold off until the afternoon, and that the weather at the Open obviously plays a part, and yeah, you just kind of look a little bit on the forecast, but at the same time, it's one of them. You see what you get in the morning, and you're better off being prepared for everything.
Are you feeling in good shape going into this, Henrik?
A bit of average form, I'd say. I haven't had a great season. This tournament, of course, brings back a lot of good memories, and it's fantastic golf. I love playing links golf. There's no right, no wrong shot that you play. You can be creative, and yeah, it's a great crowd. So hopefully those things will make me play a little bit better.
Now, your caddy, Fanny Sunison, very famous caddy, woman caddy.
More famous than me.
Well, yeah. I mean,
she was with Nick Fowler, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's right, caddy. And she's come out of retirement. She caddied for you a couple of weeks back, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. We do a junior tournament together every summer in Sweden, and then this spring I had a couple of weeks that I needed some help, and I asked her, and she was delighted to come out and do a bit of work. So it's good fun for us to catch up, kind of old time's sake. We worked together between 2006 and 2011, so it's a great chance to catch up with her, and she loves it. I mean, Open been a big part of her career, and she won 2 of them with Nick, so she loves it.
What did she make of all the notoriety at the time? As you said, it was always in the newspapers, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think so. But she's a super dedicated caddy and a hardworking girl. So she even told me a story that TV people would ask her what club Nick was hitting and this and that and what score he was on and so on, and she said I pretended not to hear because I had to be in the moment, and do my thing. So
sure,
she's always been super focused and good at what she does.
Now, in light of the conversation Scotty Scheffler had with the press yesterday, it's been quite a talking point media-wise. I don't know if any of the players have been discussing it at all, but it was a bit of an existential chat, as I'm sure you're aware or you've seen what he said. I mean, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was asked on another call here just recently about it as well, and I was read a couple of the quotes, and it's always hard for me to answer more or explain more on his behalf, but I think faith is a big part of Scotty's life, and I think that comes into maybe some of the answers a little bit as well, and how you view the world and your sport and your life and so on, but. Yeah, I mean, there's certain parts that you can certainly kind of connect with and see that you start questioning or thinking about bigger picture stuff, and I think we all do at certain times, and also in terms of achievement, if you win something big, you've tried really, really hard for a long time to accomplish, and then there's always going to be a bit of, okay, what's next? What do I do now when you've achieved it? So I don't know. It seems to be a few different angles kind of into those comments, right?
Have you had that then in big moments, Henrik? I'd say after maybe the Monday, and you think, okay, I've won an Open, I've won a major, I'm so proud and pleased to have done that. There's an expectation of the way that's going to make you feel, and if it doesn't make you feel like that, it must be an odd sensation.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I was buzzing.
I suppose everybody's different.
But
everybody's different.
Xander Schauffele yesterday was asked about winning and trophies. He said, "Well, I'm not interested. I don't even know where my gold medal is. I don't know where my cups are. It's I'm not. It's every sportsman's got a different approach to it, haven't they?"
Sander must be a very messy person if he doesn't know where the gold medal is. I know where my silver medal is.
He says he doesn't. He's not interested. He said, "What am I going to do? Look at it? I don't care." He said,
"Wow."
Yeah. No, I mean, everyone's different. But I got most of my trophies in the office in Florida home, and when you're in there, you're doing some work, and you look up. It's quite nice to see a Claret jug and a FedEx Cup and a race to Dubai and whatnot on the mantelpiece, and but everyone's different, like you say, but it's I can see that, and I've heard this from others as well. Olympians and so on. You train hard for 4 years and you achieve your kind of long career goal, and then you go, okay, what's next? What do I do from here? Because everything's been focused into that one moment or one race, and then there's going to be an emptiness afterwards. But in golf, at least, we got a new tournament more or less the following week, and off you go again. So no rest.
No, indeed. You're one of a number of players from Liv who have going to be playing at the championship. We were chatting to Ian Poulter the other week about it, and we say we detected a bit of a better relationship, really, between the Tour and Liv. I mean, how are you finding it at the sharp end?
Yeah, it's between players for the most part and everyone else involved here out at tournaments, it's never really been that much of a fraction, I'd say. I think there's been some people maybe being a little bit too vocal, and that might have hurt some personal relationships throughout the years, but all in all, that's not really been the problem. It's been more the kind of people that decides what happens in the world of golf and who are at the decisive positions, and it's not been a whole lot of progress, I think, made as of late. But we wait. I kind of focus on my golf and my tournaments, and then we'll see what happens, and hopefully something will come together at some point.
Yeah. Well, look, we wish you well when you get underway tomorrow. Appreciate you joining us. Thanks very much.
Thank you. You too.
There is Henrik Stenson there, the winner of the 2016 Open at Troon, out tomorrow morning just after 8:45. We're going to be right across that for you on talkSPORT 2. We'll have it all live as the day unfolds. Rupert Bell and the gang bringing you coverage of the Open over in Northern Ireland.
When you commentate on golf, you have to have a very quiet voice.
You have to, of course. That's right. Well, you do. I mean, now and again, you hear them being told to be quiet, all the broadcasters, and they sound like they're whispering to me. I'm thinking, hushed tones. Anyway, Rupert's very good. He can do good whispering. As long as he doesn't have too much red wine tonight, he can do
Otherwise
whispering.
we're getting Bob Harrison if he lets us down.
That would be good. 7 a.m. our coverage starts on talkSPORT 2. We'll have regular updates throughout the day, kicking off in breakfast, and regular updates from our top team. In Portrush. I went there about 18 months ago. It was a really lovely spot, and it's really nice there. So sure everybody's going along. We'll have a cracking time. Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We'll finish today looking at some of the transfer stories of the day. There's some pretty interesting stuff out there at the moment. Ben Jacobs is back to tell us a bit more about that. At 4:00 this afternoon, it is, who's on today? Oh, it's right, Shaban and Stewart are with you today. That's right. It's a bit of a change up. Shaban and Stuart Pearce are with you for Drive at 4. We've got Max Scott and Flex with the Transfer Insiders with plenty going on, and the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy at 10. And of course, live football over on talkSPORT 2. The first of the quarterfinals this evening at Euro 2025. Norway versus Italy. Flo Pollock, your commentator. Leanne Sanderson, the former England striker, alongside her. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation, and of course you shouldn't forget that you can download the Toolstation app for fast track delivery on thousands of products. Next stop, Toolstation. I mentioned it's Jason and Jamie tonight on the Sports Bar as always, but they're going to be joined in the studio by Arsenal fan, actor, comedian, writer of Little Britain fame and more, of course, Matt Lucas.
It's bold of Matt to go on with a Spurs fan and a Chelsea fan.
Yeah,
he knows
that's right. I'm sure there'll be a lot of...
I think he can handle himself.
Bants flying about. But yeah, Matt Lucas with the fellas tonight from 10 o'clock. So let's talk transfers. And it's this sort of weird situation going on with Liverpool and Newcastle around Isak, and Ekitike seems as good a place to start as any with Ben Jacobs. Good afternoon, Ben.
Good afternoon.
It's a weird little situation. It's like, well, we go for him, or we won't go for him, but we want him. I mean,
definitely an element of that.
There's a few stories popping up. You may know about it at the moment that Liverpool are talking to Eintracht about Ekitike.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think this is an indication of Liverpool wanting a number 9 and not waiting for a Darwin Nunez departure. The situation is Alexander Isak is the dream target. They first went to Newcastle United. Now they're trying to understand if they're wasting their time placing a British transfer record bid. At the same time, you would think Liverpool's urgency on both fronts is down to the fact that Newcastle are prepared to do Ekitike, and there's no guarantee if they get him from Frankfurt that they'll definitively sell Alexander Isak, at least not this summer. So Liverpool feel that the market dictates they have to move on both and spin each plate. And if it means pushing for Ekitike opens the door to Isak and then Newcastle get Ekitike, that's the dream scenario. If alternatively Newcastle remain bullish and say there's no offer, you're wasting your time placing a bid, as long as Liverpool, having tried, feel that position is genuine, then Ekitike has always been one of their leading targets. So I don't think this is Liverpool grandstanding or a show approach to try and scare Newcastle United. I think this is Liverpool saying, we won't wait for Nunez to go. We want our number 9. We're not prepared to miss the boat on Ekitike and give Newcastle a clear run. But whilst the Ekitike negotiations from Newcastle are ongoing, they want to understand whether that indicates a possibility of Isak departing now. And if so, then Newcastle could well get Ekitike, Liverpool maybe Isak. But if they feel it's not for sale, regardless of whether Newcastle find a striker, then they don't want to miss out on Ekitike, who is a leading target. And that's why we've had these simultaneous approaches to Newcastle and Frankfurt in the last 24 to 48 hours.
How long is Isak's contract, though? Somebody's making the point on X that, you know, if he doesn't re-sign and you miss out on a big payday,
he's got a couple of 2 or 3 years, hasn't he, I think?
Yeah, exactly. So he's contracted until 2028, and this is not a case of Isak needs a new deal. Otherwise, Newcastle can't keep him. He's well paid on his current contract. It's got 3 years left. So the value is protected, but obviously Newcastle will have to consider whether or not teams that were prepared to break the British transfer record this summer will have the funds and the need and the desire and the squad space to do it again in 12 months. It's easy to think that Liverpool or Arsenal, who have always considered Isak a dream target, might revisit the situation. But imagine if Liverpool get Hugo Ekitike, Arsenal, as expected, will complete the Victor Gyökeres deal, then those are 2 big outlays, and it remains to be seen whether they would have that kind of money to return. I suppose Newcastle would argue at some point, if they want to sell, they would get the kind of valuation they're looking for. But it's obvious in 12 months' time that if it's 120 to 130 million, or some say 150 million now, it won't be that high with another year ticked off the contract. So this might be the only time when Newcastle can get a British transfer record, but it won't be the only time, even if Isak doesn't renew, that they can bring in significant money. The other factor in all of this is just when a player wants to leave, it can influence a transfer. So what we need to understand is if Liverpool do make a formal bid for Isak, how will the player react, and will that also influence Newcastle's position?
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what happens, whether it has unsettled him. Luis Diaz, it seems, does want out, though. He seems that he will leave Liverpool, or wants to leave Liverpool.
Yeah, I think that's true. And Liverpool's perspective is their data shows he's very valuable, both last season and projections for this season. So they don't want to sell. They've told that to Bayern twice. They've rejected a 67.5 million euros bid. In addition, Barcelona have been told exactly the same thing. Saudi could bid and provide Liverpool with a number that they might well accept, but they haven't yet. So it remains to be seen whether Diaz is open to Al Nassr. But one thing the data algorithm doesn't really show you when you project onto the forthcoming season and you say, okay, we think we want to keep the player, is how would he react if he agitates for a move and then the door is shut? Does that demotivate him? Does that change the situation? And I still think there's a number at which Liverpool are prepared to sell. It's not 67.5 million, but if the offers went above 75 or 80 million euros, then maybe Liverpool start to think it's case by case, it's bid by bid, because crucially, as I said before, Diaz has decided that he wants a new challenge. It doesn't definitively mean he's going to leave, but it might mean as the window progresses that Liverpool's not for sale stance softens. And still, I think it more likely the player goes to Europe rather than Saudi Arabia, because if he becomes for sale, I would expect both Bayern and possibly Barcelona to be very much in that race.
Definitely. The maddest rumour so far, though,
what are we going to say?
is Marcus Rashford from Manchester United to Liverpool. Surely that won't happen.
Well, you wouldn't think so, but Liverpool are opportunistic, and if the price for Rashford drops, there'll be several suitors that suddenly think it's possible. But remember one thing, if that valuation goes below 40 million euros, you're going to get Barcelona coming back and feeling like it's feasible. The issue remains not can they find a fee, but can they register Marcus Rashford? And to do that, they have to clear up squad wage space. And this is partially why when they were trying for Nico Williams, they were only looking for a loan in the hope, quite audaciously, I think, that Manchester United would contribute once again and allow Rashford to get the move that he wants on a structure that doesn't really benefit Manchester United. Now I think Manchester United are more bullish. They want their 40 million, and this is why it's an open situation with Rashford. At the moment, I can't really add that much on suggestions, rumours, whatever you want to call them, that Rashford could be off to Liverpool. I think Liverpool have started with this premise that they want Diaz to stay. If he leaves, they then will obviously have to think about strengthening on the left-hand side. But you know something, it wouldn't surprise me, despite the links with Rodrigo and some say Rashford, if actually in their conversations with Newcastle United, if they realise they can't get Alexander Isak, do they pivot in the same conversations to seeing whether a Diaz departure allows them to make another approach for Anthony Gordon? Because he was a player 12 months ago when Newcastle needed to sell that Liverpool had 99% done. And then at the last minute, there were two sales, Elliot Anderson to Nottingham Forest and Yakuba Minter to Brighton. And that cumulative amount allowed Newcastle to put the brakes on a Gordon to Liverpool deal. There's a 48-hour period where Liverpool really felt like Newcastle United would be forced to sell. And if you think about Elanga, possibly Ekitike, Isak, Harvey Barnes finishing the season strong, maybe there is scope for one of Newcastle's attackers or wide players to go. And I think if they can't get Isak, it's obviously not going to be both, and Diaz departs, then Anthony Gordon and Liverpool could again be one to watch.
Blimey, more horse trading between Newcastle
there's a lot of that
and
going to
Liverpool.
go on.
Wow. Excellent. Thank you, Ben. We'll catch up with you soon.
Look forward to it. Cheers, guys.
Ben Jacobs there. Phil Chisnell was the last person to make that direct move.
That's right.
1964, 25 grand switch. So, wow.
Apparently PSG want Cole Palmer for 250 million.
It is the silly season.
It is, isn't it?
So make sure you listen to Max Scott and Flex at 7 tonight for all the transfer insiders. I'm sure Stuart and Shabana and Stuart Pearce are coming up next on Drive. They'll be covering plenty of the crazy transfer stories. It is that time of year. We're trying to be right on top of it for you. Alex Crook is keeping his ear at the ground, and you can look at our transfer ticker at talksport.com. We'll build up tomorrow to all manner of stuff. We'll have the Open underway. We'll have England in action in the Women's Euros, and lots more besides. So I'm alongside Charlie tomorrow for one. Andy will join us for the birthday spread. But as we said, coming up next, it is Shabana and Stuart Pearce with Drive.